Rolling.
right. Say, I'm me, you're you. Let's go.
Nice. That's our opener. I love that one. Beautiful. I'm me
It's a
or you.
good
Let's
one.
do this.
Hey, so we were
What's
talking
happening,
about how we're
gentlemen?
robots, huh?
So the two podcasts ago that we talked about, and we actually got onto it for two podcasts, was we're all robots. Just that simple sentence hurt my brain for about 2 weeks. And I've been trying to disprove that, but I can't. I mean, the definition of robot is an autonomous being that, it can either run a program or it can run by autonomous by itself.
Well, a being
Ah,
that runs on software, right?
Well, agreed. Runs on software. Our brain has
Light on.
John, what is the term for basic software? Operating
Base,
software.
well,
Base operating software.
if we're getting into it,
Yes,
We're
get
into it, man. Take the hold.
okay. So think on, off, 1, 0. You start there. That's kind of the core. That's where everything begins with binary
Code.
logic. Okay.
Mhm.
To step it up from 1, 0 to yes, no, to make it the next level, there's actually something called machine language, which is then you think of 4 squares all in a row that represents a byte. The bits are the 4 squares. Hard to explain without doing some drawing, but basically the assignment for each square is 0 through F. It's called, it's an alphanumeric based machine language. So if you put a 1 in this square, okay, so 4 squares, right? Divided up, there's a hierarchy. Let's start from this side, this side, this side. Above it, you're going to assign a value. And that value, hard to explain, but if you put a 1, 2, I think it's 4 and 8. 1, 2, 4, and 8. I'd have to look at it. But if you put a yes here, it's 1. If you put a yes here, I said 1, 2, right? You add them together, it's a 3. And what you're trying to do is construct off of ones and zeros a more defined language. So that's called machine language. We'd have to draw it up, but then you go to the next level to manipulate the machine language, and that's where it gets more and more and more complex. And
Are you talking about it? You're talking AI past that, right?
Well, it's kind of like every single software program is based off of binary, except
ours.
Now we have quantum computing, and
what
that
about
is
ours?
really
what about
taking
our
things.
base software, humans based software?
With the DNA.
You're the perfect person to ask. He's a computer guy inside a hospital.
I see. Yeah. So the ones and zeros are meant to like compound within the frame of the bit, I guess. To
Correct.
complicate.
Yeah, they influence each other at the core level. Yep.
What a mess. What a mess.
You said something that was very interesting to me. You said yes, no, truth, lie. One is either or, 1 or 0 is 1 is truth, 0 is untrue. Or yes, no.
It could be. It depends on the context. Do I want to make a left or a right? That's a 1, 0. That's
well,
not
less of a
that's
truth
not
or a lie.
truth.
It's more about like dictating where you want to go with it, I think.
That's it.
What is binary in its basis?
Ones and zeros. That's it.
Right, but ones and zeros. What does 1 represent? What does 0 represent? Does it
Up and down.
represent truth, lie? Yes, no.
I would guess it to be like a gene thing, right? Because with the genes, they turn the gene on or they turn the gene off.
So we're relating it to the biological environment, right? It's hard because binary is exclusive to electronics and software, right? It has to do with voltages. There's something called TTL logic, plus or minus 5 volts. There's CMOS,
so
but anyway,
there's not a binary code that works through us as well.
I think so. But we don't. But like,
because that's what I said. Like gene expression, right? Gene expressions. Like some signals turn them on, some signals turn them off, right?
Now you're getting somewhere. Now you're talking about DNA. That's our algorithm, if you will. The DNA is our algorithm on how we
the code in us
built.
The
how we're
code
built,
in us,
right?
given us from God.
base operating code.
There's our software.
And the more I learn about it, the more I learn about. I don't understand. You guys are way smarter than me on the idiosyncrasies of it. But once I at my age, what I'm learning is the base operating code is how you work inside this energy field. We're an energy field. We're a brain is an energy generator, and us bodies are energy fields working inside another energy field. Correct, John?
Well, every cell has something called mitochondria,
Mm-hmm.
and
It's
that's when you said the
unnatural to
word
humans, apparently.
that's our little battery, right? That's our
Okay,
little battery.
can I ask you something? Because you're really on this. And
He's
I've wanted to
getting
know this
excited.
for a long time because I've heard this that the mitochondria is unnatural to humans. Like somewhere along the line, we picked this up. It wasn't in us a long, long time ago.
The
But
Anunnaki.
yeah, maybe I don't know, right? But
So
now it
as our
is, and
yeah. So our conversation, are we changing it to evolution or
well, I've always wanted to know because, like, maybe you have something that you know that I don't, but I've at least bring up
He has a lot
mitochondria
he
as being
knows
the
that we don't.
powerhouse of the cell, and that's where we're talking about the operating system, right? So it's getting into the
Okay.
weeds a little bit of that.
Let me ask you a clarifying question. So you're talking about mitochondria. I've heard there's a God gene in all of us, and they're
So,
trying to figure that out.
well,
I mean, the worship gene.
no,
No,
it's, I
the
think I know
God
what
gene,
Mike's
something
talking
that
about it.
separates us from other animals.
There's a, that's kind of a little bit commingled because this, again, we'd have to define it, right? But my understanding is there's a chromosome, if I'm not mistaken, that kind of symbolically looks like a cross when you magnify it, and then it got equated to
Laminin.
that.
Laminin.
Oh wow!
Right,
The laminin
right.
gene.
But
It's a
something,
cohesion molecule. This is the only thing I know about anything of it because it's the only thing. It's called laminin. And
okay.
this one pastor goes on stage and goes, "I love laminin. I love laminin. I'm a scientist. I love laminin." And the congregation's just looking. I'm like, "Okay, shut up." And he goes, "It's the cohesion molecule for existence. So if we didn't have it, we'd all fall apart." And here, Brian, do me a favor. Online, look up laminin and the
In what sense?
laminin cohesion molecule, and get the picture of it. The actual picture of it it's crazy, but the actual picture looks like a cross with a loop on top, which is the Roman cross, if I'm not mistaken. And then the actual scientific layout of it is just basically a cross. And that's what would that blew my mind. Can you bring that up?
Well,
That would be crazy.
Yeah. Well,
after we touch on that subject a little more, I want to ask both of you a really good question.
So, John, what was your question?
What is the one characteristic that human beings have that sets us apart from all other creatures? All other creatures. What is one aspect that we have that sets us apart from all other creatures? Because we're talking about
The God gene.
humans and keep
it's a
going.
characteristic. That would be a feature or something. That's a little different.
Here.
You're on the right track, Brian.
So I would say imagination, honestly.
It's consciousness.
I would say
Speaking,
imagination.
talking, forming words, passing ideas back and forth at a deep
Communication, a
level.
communication style or whatever.
The way we even talk. I mean, granted, there are animals that we presume communicate, but hand a calculus formula to a dolphin, it's not going to happen. The fact that we're able to articulate words, speak, understand, and then again build upon that, and that's a characteristic that us humans, if we're really going to pin something on us that's distinct from all other things, there's a part of our brain that allows us to learn language at an early rate when we're very young, and that language capability that we have in our brain, again, it pretty much distinguishes us from all other creatures, which is kind of fascinating because you were talking about
Yeah,
But there's a
try the
lot of
second one.
other
Bring the
animals
second
that
one up.
make
Bring the
noises and
second one up.
stuff.
Bring the second one up.
Bring
I
the second
spelled it
one up.
total. I said it
There's a
probably
lot of
totally
other
wrong.
animals that make noises and stuff, and they communicate. They
Well,
can even
that's
mimic their prey in some ways to draw them in, right? But if you
Sure.
also gonna say too, if an alien had blueprints and gave it to us, we wouldn't be able to know what to do with it either.
True.
You know,
Yeah.
so it's
it's
like
communication.
right.
Well,
it might just be different worlds of communicating more than like ours is more advanced or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
all animals communicate. You know, birds puff up and do their thing to dance, try and mate. You know, everything. Dogs communicate with us with their eyes, licking their lips. You know, it's a form of communication. But the actual, you know, like my daughter said, you know, God gave us the ability to communicate with each other with ears and a mouth. Great. You know, that works out fantastic. But it seems that a lot of other animals have the same capability, but don't have the consciousness or intelligence. What is the difference?
No, they do have intelligence. They do have consciousness, but we are far surpassed. And I think that's, if we're trying to kind of put together, you know, what makes us different and how God has created us in essence, I think that's a very distinguishing characteristic.
What's the
I mean,
leap, isn't it? Isn't the leap
that's the
the
leap.
real surprise? Because like we resemble a lot of things, but we don't fit in with anything anymore.
It seems like it, right?
What's
We're
the
the only
difference?
thing on this planet that doesn't fit.
Yeah.
And
True.
what we've done to this planet. You know,
Don't worry then.
I'm
We
a
won't
builder
fit
and
for long.
I build a couple houses and stuff. I've changed Google Earth. Brian, bring up that thing I just sent you, the second one,
I
the
got you.
Google look. Here's what I was trying to illustrate.
There we go.
That's laminin.
So the way this crosses, I guess they're making something out of it.
Now the see the picture on the bottom right, second one over from the bottom right. That's actual
one?
laminin. That's the
Right here?
cohesion molecule. That's the molecule. Yes, that's the molecule itself. That's what it looks like. But if you look at all the diagrams, it's all across.
Dude, this is like constellations, man. What are we doing?
Well, the cell that holds us together looks like a cross. I don't know.
I mean,
Here's
that
the kicker.
kind of looks
That
like
was
a constellation with a tail at the bottom. I don't know, man.
okay, but take a look at the symbols. That when you look in science, that's what it looks like.
Typically, crosses don't have one hand higher than the other one. Just
That's true.
what kind of builders making
Does
that?
it have to be perfect when the actual John? What is that? A
This
rendering
is
of
perfect.
the? Well, that's a rendering with.
Actually,
That's a
includes
rendering
at
with.
least it
Dude,
includes
you
the
just
real
love
one
being.
right here.
You know, Brian, you don't have a point. You have a counterpoint on everything.
Yeah, welcome to my world.
What's the beads for, buddy?
The next one.
Uh-oh. You're scaring me
What's
now.
a detour?
Beads.
Oh, I don't know.
Bead necklace.
My kid picked it up a week or so ago, and I don't know. We've been passing it back and forth for like a week.
Awesome.
All right, I got another question for both of you, if you don't mind.
Uh-oh.
If humans weren't on Earth, what do you think would be the dominant creature? Let's just think about that for a second. What would be the creature
Alpha.
that would
I mean
dominate?
the
Silverback.
hierarchy. I don't know, man. That's a great question.
Silverback.
I say the mosquito.
Mosquito.
It's gonna kill
good
everything.
mosquito joke.
It's gonna spread disease and kill that silverback. It's gonna kill because it's actually the mosquito is responsible for the most amount of deaths in the world, historically speaking.
So there's a Jimmy Carr joke that really goes good with this.
Oh, I love it. Go ahead. I like Jimmy Carr.
It says, if only we had more mosquito nets, we could save millions of mosquitoes from needlessly dying of AIDS every year.
Oh, ouch. Ouch. That's rough. That's Jimmy Carr. That is classic Jimmy Carr right there.
That's so good. That's so good. Be mosquito, huh? I lost you.
Mosquito.
There.
There you go. It's popped up.
I'm back.
Hey, good.
So
Mosquito.
what do you?
Huh?
I mean,
that's a good one.
yeah. Do you think that's a true statement, or do you think like the cockroach is going
What's
to
the
be
true
the
statement?
final.
Dude, that's a good pick.
The
That's a good pick right there. The
I know,
cockroaches,
right?
dude. They've been around since the
Cockroach,
dinosaurs, right? The cockroaches.
mosquito, something. Yeah.
Dude, cockroaches are
Uh,
super hard to kill. Oh, you know what I would go with here? The tardigrade.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
what?
Agreed. Yep.
What is a
The water
tardigrade?
bear. I'll show you. You can tell him,
They
John.
can
I'll show him.
they can go without I think like oxygen and
Everything.
food, and they can live in outer space, and it's crazy. It's
Yep.
incredible.
What?
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. And it looks like
They'll just
I
give
mean,
you a
it's
massive
magnified
education for
100
him, right?
billion times, but it looks like
Yeah, it is.
a
It's a
creature.
microscopic thing, I think, but
Yeah, looks like a creature from
Oh
Dune,
yeah,
the
I see
movie
that.
the
Dune.
water bear. Oh, what happened? Stupid computers. But yeah, this is him right
There
there,
it
buddy.
is. That's it.
The animal
That
that
is a
just
good question.
doesn't die.
What do you think? What do you think would be the dominant? What would be the at the top of the hierarchy of? It could be mosquitoes, but and I think there's more mosquitoes. I think there's more mosquitoes per pound than humans.
I'd go for
Probably.
cockroach before I would go for mosquito, though.
Yeah, that's true, because the mosquito
Because
won't
any
kill a
kind of
cockroach.
atmospheric event like a volcano or an asteroid, it's gonna fucking destroy them. Cold weather, they can't even handle cold weather.
Good
They'll
point.
adapt. They'll adapt. They'll mate with a tardigrade, and then we're all
Oh my
messed up
And we're
god!
because of that.
screwed.
Then the
Yeah, it's like
universe is
Alien.
screwed.
What
It's
would be
like
the apex predator, though? I mean, I don't consider a mosquito a predator.
apex
Depends. It
predator.
seems like if you're gonna go on this scale, everything that breaks down into really small but really effective things like ants, cockroaches, things that like can do things together on a really small scale. So even if they get half the planets wiped out by an asteroid, the other half can kind of take over for it or something.
That would be
Well,
because
because every large creature is super dependent on a lot of things to keep going. I mean, you know that as you work out, you need more protein and everything else, right? So
True.
I'd like to say lions, but they went extinct and it wasn't us.
I'd go silverback before I go lion.
I don't
Well,
know,
wait
but
a
you
minute.
ever see who would win in a fight?
Well, the lion isn't even the baddest cat, man.
What's the baddest cat? Tiger?
Do you know the biggest cat?
Tiger.
Yeah.
What about
And
a
you know the
liger?
jaguar has the strongest bite of a cat?
Yeah, but they're
Dude, they'll come out of water and grab
overkill.
a crocodile by his head and just get
And
him.
a crocodile can grab a panther by the head or a jaguar or any of those and
It
bring it
could.
down.
But it's a
I've seen it.
cat, so it's lightning fast and unlikely.
I've seen a croc get it. I've seen a croc get
It
one of those.
happens, I'm sure. Everything can happen.
Yeah.
But my money's on the cat in that situation.
What's the most dangerous animal in Africa?
It's
It's a
supposed to be
hippo,
the
isn't it?
hippopotamus, yeah,
Yeah.
or elephant, one of the
The
two.
medulla oblongata.
Those things are dicks. You ever see one come? Like they just come at you.
They charge, yeah, and they're huge. They're like little cars just charging at you.
Not little. Like,
Well, they weigh more than cars, I guess.
I heard a stat talking about overweight. I didn't know that they were actually at weight, and pigs are actually at weight. I thought they were grossly overweight. Did you?
Oh, yeah, that's on purpose. It's by design. Yeah.
But here's what blew my mind. Like someone had a stat. I didn't check it, so don't nail me to the wall on this one. That humans are fatter. Americans are fatter than the average American pig. The pigs average, or a female. The average female in the United States is 40% body fat.
Yeah,
The average
by body
male is
fat.
28% body fat. The average pig is 15 to 20. That's insane. Everybody's shaking their head like this is common knowledge.
I mean, Depends
But
on your
I thought a
circles, I
pig
guess.
was mostly fat. I thought it was way over 15 to
Dude, they're
20 pounds.
lean.
Way over.
You've been around a pig before, right?
Mhm.
You touched them. They're strong, man. They're strong. They're
They're
solid. They're
solid,
not
but you
really
know,
fat.
I
They're
didn't.
just big boned, as they would say, I guess. I don't know.
For
That
sure.
that stat blew my mind. We're fatter than pigs.
Well, let you know who the slovenly creature really is, huh?
Well, yeah, that's true too.
So the Earth is covered with 3/4 of water. You guys
Yeah.
picked land animals, but you said
Ooh,
like
that's a good
apex
point.
predator. I think once you get in the water, I think orcas are the bad boys and bad ladies of the water because
Is
there's
that too
really
big, though?
nothing. What's that?
Is that too big, though? Like we were saying about
Oh, to
times change,
survive and
food
be afraid.
sources change. Yeah, like bigger animals need
Yeah.
more to survive.
Ah, good point.
'Cause I would
Yeah,
say
good
something more like
point.
an octopus or something, maybe.
They're pretty
I've seen
smart,
an
aren't they?
octopus take out a shark.
What?
I've seen an octopus take out a shark.
Jesus.
How?
That's impressive.
Huh?
Please
Go on,
tell us
Brian.
how.
Go on YouTube and say octopus
Well,
eats a
hold on. I
shark.
want to hear the story
It'll
first.
blow your mind. It blew my. So this one aquarium, you know how they have to put an eco
Habitat.
economy inside the tank, right? For
Yeah.
everybody to watch. So you got to put a certain amount of fish. You got to put a certain amount of this. You got to put one shark. You can't put two sharks. You get two sharks to mate. Then you make more sharks. So they had this ecosystem nice, and they introduced an average sized squid, 3-4 feet. And then the shark was like a nurse shark, so it wasn't, it wasn't aggressive. It was going to eat all the fish. And they had a video of the shark swim too, just sucked it in. I didn't know that there's beaks on
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know that. And those tentacles, once they get on, they don't come off.
Right.
So they just it knew to suffocate it, and then just start eating it from the outside.
It's wicked.
If
That
you
is
want to pull
crazy.
that one up, that's crazy. That was crazy to watch.
I could look for it.
Oh,
That is
dude.
crazy. But like I
Yeah,
said, is the orca
so now
too
we're
big?
back to
Right? Because the
now.
orca's
Did you
like the
guys?
silverback comparison, I think.
Yeah, that's
Well,
true.
so what about? I've seen. Have you seen these videos of huge squids beached
The
on shore,
giant
like the
squids?
end to end, 150 feet, some ridiculous number?
Yeah. The
Now,
monsters.
what would be the apex predator there? I mean, what would kill that?
That?
Nothing. And
Electric
I
eel.
agree with John. I agree with the orcas
Electric
because
eel.
the
That's
one thing
funny.
that orcas have in common, the one thing that makes them great predators is they hunt in packs, right? So that's hard to beat. Like ants hunt in packs too, but with an orca in the water, it's when you got 2 or 3 orcas, there's not much in the world that can take those down. I don't know of anything with a pack of orcas. And do you see how they hunt sea lions? Now, a sea lion, to save itself, will jump on a block of ice. And you know what the
Temporarily.
orcas, huh?
Temporarily.
Right. And do you know how they get them off?
They break
The
it. They
orcas
smash
swim
it.
in coordination with each other, and then when they
The
go under, they
waves.
kick their tails up, and the
Yeah.
wave comes over and just pushes off the thing, and then that's when they eat. I mean, to know that their tail kicking up at a certain time that causes wave, that is insane. That's hunting skills.
It's pretty cool.
Did you tell John what Pithy Jedi means?
I have not. So
Please do.
I've dubbed myself
John,
a
you know what
Pithy
Pithy
Jedi.
means?
Well, what?
Pithy Jedi. His name is Pithy Jedi.
I hear Jedi, but what's the front word on that?
Pithy.
Pithy. Oh, pithy Jedi? Oh, you're a pithy Jedi. What color lightsaber does a pithy carry around?
Black.
Oh,
that
there you
hurts.
go. Oh my goodness. So,
Yeah,
Does the Mandalorian have one of those?
I got a bunch of them, man. This is kind
oh,
of
cool.
So I figured out this is kind of the way my brain works, I think. And I've been talking with Mike about it back and forth. I kind of think it's the way everybody's brain works, but they just don't realize it. This is that software that you're running on, right?
Oh yeah.
I have something I
Space
wrote
opera.
earlier too about like your Your life is going to come from your thoughts, right? And your thoughts are basically a congregation of your SOPs. And your
Yep.
SOPs will be your pithy self-talk in a way.
That's a good way to put it.
One of my favorite ones is like the old adapt or die.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's like it's
Yep.
like these things that are in life if you pay attention to them, right?
True. Yep.
And if you
I
don't
call
catch
it.
them, you'll be hurting if you don't catch on to it, you know.
Yeah, I call it being a chameleon. You have to kind of blend in with the environment. You're still the chameleon, but you're blending in. You're not allowing yourself to become
Be the
whatever it is,
squid.
or squid or an octopus.
Be the squid.
Be,
What's the
be the
difference, by
squid.
the way? I don't actually know. I know
Squid
squids
and
are a little
octopus?
smaller, right?
That's weird. I don't know. I don't know.
No,
I really don't know.
squids, size-wise, there's different sizes, and octopus, I know there's not like massive octopus.
Now, if you think about it,
Octopi.
the big ass one I think we're talking about is commonly referred to a giant squid, not a giant
Yeah,
octopus, huh?
all right. Because
What
I've
is
eaten
the
squid, the smaller ones. Have you ever eaten
Calamari.
those little
yeah?
things?
How is it? That's
Calamari.
calamari, right? Yeah,
Yep.
That's calamari.
Good
Yeah,
luck.
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Rather
yeah.
eat
Italian
that than
beef.
caviar.
See,
Well, if you
we've
get good calamari, you got to have a marinara sauce, and then it's
But
really good.
dude,
Then you can
is
fry
anybody
it.
eating this stuff not fried? That's what I want to know.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Go
oh
to Italy,
yeah.
man. They'll serve it
Well,
to you any way you want it. You know what? It's best is sautéed with garlic and
there you go.
Yeah,
butter.
garlic needs to save the show. It's garlic and butter. Jesus, you're really
Ooh.
going for the haymakers there. No, not like that, but
I
like
don't care about my life.
flavor wise, garlic and butter is about as high as you're reaching, man.
Well, the Italians, dude. I'm telling you, when I went to Italy, they turned food into an art, and it
Oh yeah.
was weird because you know how we go to eat, and it's just to eat. None of that, like none of that. And you know what was the weirdest part about Italy? I went 10 years ago, yeah, almost 10 years, 9 years ago. Is they didn't have like I swear to God, there was two or three. I saw two or three McDonald's through my course of seeing Italy. There might have been one McDonald in each town. They hate it. Like my cousin, you know, she was talking to me and she goes, "How do you guys? What do you guys eat?" I go, you know, I hate to say this, you know, when you're in construction, going from one job to another, and I go, I eat in the car, you know, in between, you know, job sites, and she goes, I could never eat not sitting down in a restaurant or a house. And I
Wow.
said, we're doing it wrong. We are doing it wrong.
We're busy.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
their food and they're doing it
They
right.
can
Like
just take time with their little easel and they can play in life. We're busy over here kicking ass.
I know, but they take like September, October, August off. They take August off. Everybody, doctors, lawyers, attorneys, schools are always out. And they
Okay.
take the month of August off.
Throw that back and forth with 6 days of work that the Japanese work, right?
Oh
That's
Come
true.
on now.
Yeah,
Those
I
people
went
are
to,
eating everywhere they can.
yeah. They have
but
concessions for just about anything. You're walking down the street, you can get whatever you want and keep
You
going.
know you have to
Yeah.
eat on the go because you won't stop working.
Mike, is that true?
oh,
You
dude,
just eat.
yes. And there's everything everywhere. And there's like, you know, I hate to say this, and I know I'm going to get hell in the comments. You know, there's vending machines that have like girls dirty underwear. The culture over there for
Oh, they go
like
wild with different
sex
stuff.
and relationships is
Yes.
really weird. Like
Well,
really weird.
very different. Yeah.
Like, yeah, different. Okay, we'll go there. I won't say weird. You're good. Thank you. That's weird because it's not
It's
uncommon to
weird
see a
to us,
31-year-old
right?
male that's a virgin.
It's weird to us.
Yeah, like I
Yeah.
liked having sex at 15. How they
Yeah,
could get
well,
35, 30 years old.
there's a bold idea for you. Most people want to argue about the age of consent, but on some level, nature decides.
Well, here's another
I'm not saying
problem.
it
Let's say
should be
age of
whatever or it shouldn't be whatever, but it's like we all like to like impose our stuff on it, right? And it's like You go back in history, times where people are trying to survive. They don't pay attention to these things. They just you do what
Well,
you got to do. You know.
they were like rules. Now they're laws, right? That's the difference. Once they're laws, you can be penalized for the law. Like I remember dating a girl, and I was 17, and I don't know, 17. She was 15. And I was dating her, and we were kissing in the back of a car, and the cop catches us. I thought about it. I'm like, I'm almost 18. This girl's like 15. I go, I can go to jail.
Well, back in the
Please
day,
tell her it was consensual.
It was majorly based on like parental consent back in the day.
Yeah.
Like if the parents were good with it, then everybody leave them the fuck alone.
And here's the real kicker of all of it. What is the legal age of consent that's legal, or what is the right age?
Well,
I'll never forget. I was
on who you are, where you live, what your culture is, all this different stuff. Look at colonial days. It was like 14, right? It's just like
right.
Jerry Lee Lewis. I mean, a great, terrible example, maybe, but like the age gap at least, right?
Right. Well, here's another thought to it. I know society has to make a minimum. I get that. I understand that. But when I was in Mexico one time, this 14-year-old girl was serving me a beer, and me and my son got to drink at like 12 or 11 or something, and it was just cool. And I said to her, I said, you know, in Michigan, you couldn't even serve beer at 14 years old. And this 14-year-old girl looked at me and goes, I found age has little to do with maturity. And I went, damn. I took that with me the rest of my life. Like age has little to do with maturity.
But this is the shit we put on people, dude. This is the shit we put on people, and we fuck their brains all up. We try to tell them what ought to be, right?
You know about the study on geniuses, don't you? You know about that, right?
We talked about this
a couple times ago. John, do you know about the study on geniuses?
Study on geniuses?
They wanted to find out what made geniuses.
How to make geniuses?
No, how to predict or find them. What was the characteristics of becoming a genius?
I got they have a lot of acne. They don't get out much.
I know the trick. I know the answer.
Okay, well here I'll tell you the study, and then you tell me the answer. So
I'll tell you the answer before the study.
Well, let him hear the study.
Oh.
So the study went and they went to elementary schools.
Birth
and they found that
is the
90% of elementary schools, at 90% of schools attendance had the ability to become a genius.
What's genius level creativity? I think is what they're basing it on. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you got to define what intelligence is, but in junior high school it was 50%, and in high school it was 10%. Had genius level IQs, and I was like, "Are we teaching our kids to be stupider?
We're fucking them up."
So what's the answer, Brian?
The answer is birth. You be born a human, and you are just given it from God, and then every step along the way you deviate. If you don't stay the path, right? You could end up staying the path like a Tesla. You could end up staying the path like I don't know, like in different fields, right? Buddha or whatever the fuck, right? There's different ways to go about it. But like, if you stay the path, then you're good. It's when we deviate, we tell them what they ought to think, what they ought to be, what they ought to do, you know? And it's just every societal norm, kind of like we were saying a second ago, every societal norm that you put in them, you're kind of boxing them in a way.
Agreed.
And then you make laws about it, and then you shrink them down even further.
Mm-hmm.
Stupid.
Yeah, but how would you define a civilized, I guess you could say society? Because if it's lawless, and if you have no frame of, like, in other words, laws are framed so that we're supposed to be protecting, the person, the property, things and so forth, safety, right? So like you said, there's like, for instance, the underage, by our law, the underage females and that whole concept, there are some biological barriers there because of the fact that, if they're too young, there's that biological risk of having children too young. Plus, we think maturity, right? We always, this is a debatable item, but at
Right.
18, you can be in the military, but you can't drink till you're 21. But when you
Yeah,
go to
wear a mask.
Europe, like my
Wear a
son
mask.
did, he turned 18. We were in Ireland at the Guinness, where they basically bottle Guinness, and we went to the bar. And at 18 years old, he was able to have a beer like nothing. It's
What's the
perfectly
legal
fine.
drinking age in England?
At 18.
I think it's
I think it
18.
was
Yeah.
0. I mean, like, if you can order, like,
Oh,
there's, I think
You can make it to the counter. You're good.
if you
if you're
can
good.
order a drink, then you can drink. And from what I've heard in those countries, I might be not England, might have been Ireland. Someone said that if you can order it, you can drink it. Same thing in Mexico. You can order, you can drink it. And
I'm surprised Italy's not the same way.
they
Yeah.
don't have they have a lot less alcoholism per capita.
That's kind of what I was going to lean into a few minutes ago. You're talking about the
Isn't that
laws of
crazy?
boxing people in, right? Because over there,
Wait.
and it's a different world. Because
Yeah.
like if you were, this is when CSR fucking
Wait
the
a
kids
minute.
have right here. Watch. So if you're gonna box them in and make them say like, okay, take what I did. It's more fun to drink when you're underage and not supposed to than if you could the whole time through. Like if dad'll just throw you a beer, it's not a thing. It's not like
That's true.
There's
but
no stigma to
over
it.
there they don't have that problem. They're like, oh, want a drink? Oh, I could, but I don't really care.
Yeah.
I don't like the way it makes me
You're right.
feel. It gets me sick.
But
I got
here,
drunk
because
last
we
week.
create laws and tell people what they're supposed to do and what not supposed to do, then everybody wants to break the
There's
rules because we're rebellious by nature and yada yada.
there's psychology to that. Like there's a huge psychology to it.
I just broke it down.
It's called the takeaway in business and in sales. If you say, here, I got this really cool item, you might want it, it's only on sale for a limited time, or we're not going to be selling it past this date. As soon as you have the
Right.
drop down dead date, people, it's the takeaway. And you can have that both ways. You can have a takeaway in the sale, and you can have a takeaway in the purchase. So I've heard this story. My wife's really good about this, but Dave Ramsey one time, his wife said, "I want this certain washer and dryer," and then he walked into the store, and she just walks over and goes, "This one," and then the salesman saw it, and she goes, "Yeah, we'll take this," and then he's like, "Wait a minute, we got to bargain this and that," and once the salesman knew that his wife wanted it, and that's when they didn't get it, he was not negotiating, and he literally had to walk away. So the walk away in a sale as the purchaser is a huge attribute. If she took that away from him, they went to another store and got it for a better deal.
You know what this is, though?
In the purchaser and the sales, you got to have a takeaway.
I see the same thing, but from a different, I don't know the way my brain works, right? But you're basically introducing a FOMO.
What's a FOMO again?
Yes.
It's a fear of missing out.
Fear of missing out.
They say to do this in like dialogue sometimes too, to bring people into what you're saying,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a nice little trick. But
it is. It's a psychological.
You don't know
trick,
what you're missing out on. What am I missing out on? This, this is, I always say it in my head, at least the same way that you got company over and the little kids don't want to go to bed because they think they're going to miss something,
Yep.
That's FOMO.
But
for sure.
Did you guys have this when you're first dating your wife and, you're dating and you're in love and you're loving it and you're starting to spend time together in the same space? And like my wife, I had to take her home. She was young when I met her, but I had to take her home every night, and I had an apartment, and that's the last thing I wanted to do. I didn't want to wake up without her. That was huge for me. I said, I don't want to take you home.
That's a FOMO moment.
Yep.
FOMO moment.
It is. Fear of missing out.
So I want to hit on something John brought up a few minutes ago, because this is something I have thought about far too long. Basically, you were breaking down the laws, right? You're like, if not laws, what? I think is where you were going.
Yes.
I think, yeah. What are the constraints of a civilized society? I guess
I've said for years that I don't think laws are the best way to govern people. But then it leaves you, well, what then, right? And I can't help but come back to this certain thing of like, it's a commander's intent thing. Is really what it boils down to. Like, okay, say we don't have laws. But in this community, we don't tolerate a lot of bullshit. So if you go around and want to start molesting kids and stuff, the consequence, what the consequences could be. You could very well be strung up for it. And it's more like like a dad, right? There's no laws, but you just know if you fuck around, you're gonna find out, right? And you don't know the severity.
Isn't
But
that
I think that ambiguity keeps people in check a little bit.
Ooh, that's a good point.
Because there's no hard line, but it's like you fucking know.
There's a verse in the Bible, and I don't know exactly what it is, but it's God's laws have been etched in your heart.
Yeah, he said that in the last episode. I completely believe it. It's like right and wrong. You don't need a Bible.
Right
you
wrong.
don't need some other human to tell you what's right and wrong. Maybe the intricacies.
Taking
this is what we argue
from somebody,
about, right?
injuring somebody else for no reason. Those are wrong things to do, and it's etched in your heart. You know exactly what's right and wrong.
Everybody knows. It's not a secret.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have to dance around this.
Well, okay. All right. Okay. Then God gave us the 10 Commandments, yes?
Correct. He gave us the laws.
Not my world, but yeah.
So, but laws are based off of the 10 Commandments, are they not? Secular
they're
laws.
pretty good guidelines for the most part.
Right. Okay. Without that, what happened if looking specifically from a biblical aspect? Okay. Prior to that, why did God insist on saying, okay, you know what, you guys, when you're kind of like, I guess, think of like Caligula. Okay, that's the worst case scenario, right? That's just
Nero,
total debauchery at the extreme. Okay, to me, that's a lawless society. Same with when they had the golden calf, and then the point being is that God said, okay, looks like you guys can't behave yourselves. So I'm just cutting to the chase. Here is the guideline. You have to follow this guideline. Now, to your point, Brian, like in my town, I have to go take my car to emissions test. If that check engine light is on and my car is riddled with sensors. It could be anything. It could be the freaking tire pressure sensor going out. I cannot pass that emission test. Therefore, I cannot renew my plates. Therefore, I cannot drive my car. It's like a rolling effect. The emissions are there to keep a cleaner air aspect. Okay, that's that part. But the point is that it's like I get there's pitfalls on these laws. You know what I'm saying? I get where you're coming from.
Well,
I think you come with a great point. The great point is, when do laws overreach?
Well, people can gamify laws, and they always do.
They what?
I get
they gamify laws, and they always do. It's like people who skirt around the legal jargon so they can get their way and fuck over people, but they play by the rules, though. They play by the rules, though.
Right.
And that's the shit that I would eliminate with what I'm thinking, I play by the
you.
rules, though. Oh, yeah, you motherfucker. Those kids are starving now because of you. Fuck you.
My dad had a great idea. Like, there's so many people that have great ideas. We just got to implement them. And my dad had a neat little idea. You know how the government keeps on putting new rules every year? I don't know how many Trump executive orders came through. Put a law in that every politician has to follow. For every law you bring in, you have to take one out. So now you're deregulating, right? So we've got enough laws. Now we have to make it so that it's more beneficial for everybody. Like in the building code, there's a lot of builders that don't build anymore because of the laws, because of the codes. Yeah. They make it so difficult. Like, John, in your city,
it's red tape.
Your city, your state.
All that red tape.
Yeah, red tape. Oh, red tape.
It's
like, I'm trying to get a permit. I'm trying to get a permit
jargon,
here. Yeah, I'm trying to get a permit here for a garage, and it's, they ask me something, I give it to them. They ask me for something else, I give it to them. Could you guys ask me for everything all at once? Tell me what you want, I give you all of that, and then say, well, what about this? What about this? What about this? And then I'm going to premise this by saying, once you get the permit, the inspectors are amazing over there. And Michigan was pretty much the same thing, but they ask you to do stuff that makes no sense. Like, here's your building plans. Okay. You have to sign something and get it notarized.
Well, imagine doing your job in California.
I wouldn't even consider it. I wouldn't even consider it.
Nobody wants
I
to
would
do
lose
that.
my
I'm
shit.
telling you.
I would lose my shit.
You
The
better
stuff
have
I've
a
heard.
wife that's the receptionist at the office or something.
No, dude, you know what? This one builder. So I do a lot of education, a lot. This is just one pile of of seminars I've been to.
He's
And I was
famous,
talking
John.
to this one girl, and she's a builder in California, and she goes, after you get the permit, they tell you to go to the local school and give them $40,000. I go, that's blackmail.
It's
And
extortion.
they go, do you want to get the permit? You know, do you want the permit?
Like, nah,
Yeah,
I'm
you
not
got to go
really
give them
good with being
40,000.
poor, thanks.
But back then, you know, $40,000 is what to $1 million house.
I don't know what does back then mean.
Back then was 15 years ago when I went to that particular convention, and it was insane to hear that. But you know, you buy a lot for $250,000, $250,000, and you put another 40 onto it, and you're at $300,000. You build a house for 200 grand and you sell it for $1 million, you're still making great profit.
That's to think how much worse it's gotten since then, though.
I couldn't even imagine.
There was a video I saw a while back with Mike Lee, Congressman Mike Lee or whatever he is. He was showing like a stack of papers for the year that were coming in of regulations. And then there was like a little stack of papers for ones they took out.
Yeah.
And it's like this forever thing. And that's why I say the thing about laws, right? So you go back to the laws thing. So the laws, okay, so from the time I was little, right? This kind of always stood out to me most with the seatbelt law. Because I thought it was bullshit. I was like, who are you to tell me what to do with my body and my safety? And I was like,
excited on this one.
if I wanted to just go around bugging and I want to die, that's my right. Fuck you. But it's like, this is what happens when I think with the laws. This forever encroaching thing, right? Like a trap almost. And eventually you're so confined you can't move. And eventually that's when like a revolution will happen because the thing will break. And then people can't handle it anymore because you done overregulated everybody.
Brian,
Yeah.
you ready for this?
Let's go.
In high school, we had a class called debate, and the teacher picked a subject and then picked who had to be on what side. The point wasn't you were debating and arguing the side because you personally believed it. You had to do it as an assignment. And guess what?
Yeah.
I had to debate. I had to debate the seatbelt law, and I had to be and I have to be pro seatbelt. Okay.
And you
Oh,
were.
he's had to take the other position. Okay.
This is back in man, I'm making myself old. 1984 when this happened. Okay, this is when the seatbelt
You
law
graduated
was
3 years after that, right?
I did 2 years after that, but the point is the seatbelt law was just
So you got in
kind of
the
getting
mix. Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
So I had to support wearing the seatbelts, and I had to come up with these statistics that they came up, all the science of it, right?
Get some numbers
About
behind it.
if you don't wear a seatbelt and you get in a car accident versus wearing a seatbelt and getting in a car accident. And then I even proposed, this is what kind of got me the A in the class was I said, and your local municipalities can collect fines for you not wearing your seatbelt. You know what I'm saying? It's so wrong in
Follow
that
the money,
respect.
man. Follow the money.
Exactly. And the teacher said, I don't want to wear my seatbelt, have it mandated, but you did such a good job and you hit the point I was hoping you'd hit was somebody's going to make some money off of this. And so I'm right there with you, man. I
Yeah.
get you. I get you. Yeah.
But it's like my personal
it always
autonomy.
goes back to the money. It always goes back to the
Well,
money.
it's
And during
it's control first, then enforced through fines and money and
no.
things. Right?
The control is the money. So here, let's just. I hate to pull this one up because here's a can of worms I'm fucking cracking open. So I had this conversation with somebody that blew my mind. I go, when COVID happened, you know, and everybody pretty much knew that it was a manufactured disease. You know, it happened in Wuhan, China, where the COVID center in Wuhan, right there. When it happened and everybody was getting sick, someone said it was engineered. I'm like, yeah, it was engineered. Maybe it was, you know, it was probably accidentally let out. He goes, what if it was intentionally let out? I go, now think about this. If you're trying to design a disease, you know, what would be the best application, best and most useful part of it? Well, if you're going to look for a disease, you want to kill military-age men. If you're going to drop a bomb and it's just going to spread through you're going to want to kill military-age men.
Ideally,
you know, if you're going to use it as a weapon,
though.
you use it as a weapon, right? And the guy goes, yeah. I go, well, you know, this one kills 75-year-old people. The average death of a COVID patient was 72 years old, and the average life expectancy of a male was 72 at that time. I go, it's a horrible. It was the worst design.
It's super ineffective.
Worst. And he just looked at me dead in the eyes and broke my brain. He goes, what if that was the design? And I go, what are you talking about? Who would want 75-year-old people to drop? And he goes, what is their Social Security doing right now?
Oh, yeah, that could be the thing, right? Yeah.
Right?
Get them off the dole.
Control over the people, then the control over the people, and then who would do that? Who made the most money during COVID?
Follow the money, right? Yeah.
Yeah, follow back to the money. Who made the most money? Pfizer, Moderna, Johnson & Johnson, and they were impugned to lawsuits.
Yeah, that's probably the craziest part of the whole thing.
They're immune because
completely irresponsible.
They don't have to be responsible. Dude, we're gonna if we're gonna jump on this train, it's gonna go a while.
But I'll give you to throw you a wrinkle in your thing there. So if you were gonna go play this idea out, I think it would be more of a biolab weapon test more than a strike, right? Because like maybe the idea, if you're going to play this out, would be to just throw chaos out there. I know this isn't perfect, but let's throw it out and see what happens. Let's see how much, because a lot of this was like, you play this out. A lot of people were saying that maybe the people who are in control just want to with people, basically. And they
Do you think it was a test to see how far we'd go?
I think if you were to play this out, it would be more of a test to see how much control they could seize by just a little scare.
What do you think, John?
No. Sorry, guys.
Well, I'm just throwing it out.
It's really good to talk things out. I completely agree. If you look, there are labs all across the United States and other countries, advanced countries, to do disease control. Disease control requires you to look at the behavior of viruses. The COVID virus has existed for quite some time. There's variants. Now, how it got out, I have no idea. Your propositions, what you guys are talking about, could have happened. I'm not saying no to that. Yeah. Totally not saying no to that. As far as like them creating a biolab thing, the problem is populations are not in silos because of travel and things.
Yeah,
in other words, if countries,
the world is
that's the worst.
It might come back and mess up your own people, right? Yeah.
That's the worst weapon you can use, is because you're going to kill your own folks and everybody else.
Well, some governments don't care,
but it's going to
except for the mosquito. The mosquito.
But some governments don't care.
It's going to kill the people
it's a chance I'm willing to take. You know.
Now think about this. Now, if you were to engineer a scare, a biological scare, would you want to kill everybody or certain age people? And which age would you want to go?
That would be a strike in my mind, because if you look back, the H1N1 is the terrifying one, honestly, because that is the one that took the 18 to 24s, I believe.
Yeah.
HN, and then the numbers, the differentiation of the numbers. So there's a lot of, like you said, Brian, H1N1. There's H2N3. You know what I mean? Like there's the variations of.
That's the famous one. I don't know.
And that's what our labs are supposed to. Because if you pull up your sleeve right now, do you have a polio scar by chance? Yeah, same here, right? We all had the. Oh, that's my tattoo. Anyway, the reason
I think it's on my
we
back.
got the reason we were vaccinated with because polio was so devastating, right? Now that as a biological weapon. But let me throw this at you. This is a very, very touchy
I got something to
subject,
say
but
about
I'm
that
gonna
vaccine too.
I know, but I want to run this by you
No, no,
guys.
you're
Tell
good.
me
You're
about
good.
this. Remember when there's two instances I want you guys to I really want to hear your opinion on. One is when syphilis was introduced to the Tuskegee Airmen.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay, wait. And then the other one is sickle cell anemia.
I don't
So,
know as much about that. I know a
okay,
little
but
bit.
Michael was saying, if you were to design something and specifically hit a certain group,
Target it. Yeah.
Yeah,
target it, right?
military age
So,
men.
Because
so go
yeah,
ahead.
that's
What
a
are your
strike at
thoughts?
that point, I think.
Yeah.
So
But what about
what
the
is
two?
what is
What
the
were you gonna
question
say
in
about
that?
the two? The difference, like in
Well, sickle cell anemia specifically, it's my understanding in Africa because of malaria, there was something within the African civilizations there that developed the body developed through genetics kind of a way to get around malaria, and that's how the sickle cell actually
really?
evolved,
Hmm.
and then that's been passed on through.
It was
So
an
it's specific
adaptation
to
from malaria.
exactly through Africans where they're more susceptible to sickle cell anemia than say any other race on the planet. It's like it
Is
affects
this
them.
100% that it's linked to the malaria?
Historically, this is what they found that that's the body response. So survival. We as humans we evolve,
Yep,
we
yep, yep,
survive, and
yep,
that's what
yep, yep,
happened. But
yep.
as a result, it created this anomaly
Mm.
in people from Africa. But the thing is was there enough research? Like, what's your motivating factor? Like you talked about AIDS earlier, right? With the
Yeah,
your
yeah, yeah,
joke,
yeah.
but in reality, like the big controversy is how much spending do you put towards it to eliminate it? Like you were saying, what's the perfect biological weapon? Sadly,
Mm.
this is the types of things that could be
Cold weather.
instigated. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Cold weather kills all the flying bugs.
Well, there is that. There is that. So,
But the
A lot
sickle
more
cell
bugs here
messes
in the
them up from
south.
elevation, right? Like I
oh
always
yeah.
kind of wondered. I didn't really. I don't know, but I could see the malaria adaptation, right? But because when they get in elevation, it messes them up. So maybe they're just used to being in the flat savannas for so long that maybe I don't
That
know.
could be. Yeah. But I
Do you
guess
know
I'm
about
trying
the
to say is,
Tuskegee stuff there, Mike? You looked like you didn't know about the Tuskegee stuff.
I don't speak on things I don't know about, so I'll
Oh
let you
boy.
guys, I'll
Oh
let the
boy. What a
experts talk
mess.
on that.
that is a
No,
mess, isn't it, Brian?
Ugh.
yeah, I know
Man,
warfare.
I
I don't
told you
know
some governments
biological
don't
warfare.
care.
I agree. I agree.
Tell them about the Tuskegee thing. I'm actually grab me a couple beers. I'll be right back. Tell them about the Tuskegee thing
Sure.
because I think it's an
Sure.
important thing that you should know.
You guys want to take a quick break? I want to grab us something to drink too.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
fine. It's
sure.
fine,
This takes 5 minutes.
No,
He asks the
we've
simplest
got
questions that blows my mind.
we have had
dude.
some really
What do you think
in-depth
about the no
stuff.
laws thing? I'm telling you, I've thought about this. I've thought about this
You know what?
because when you
I
have
mean, like you
laws,
said,
right? People still want to gamify them, but if they know
yeah,
the commander's intent, there's less wiggle room. There's
yeah.
less
Mm-hmm.
fuck around to find out wiggle room.
Mm-hmm.
Brian, I think you're right because you're right. I think we hit a point in our society where it's like we hit a threshold, right? It's like
It's
these are
this,
good laws, so we don't kill each other too much and do
this.
too much
Right.
stupid shit. But then all of a sudden it like went past. Now, like Michael was saying, if you don't have a certain length of a carpenter nail going in the wood or whatever, you're going to get fined. You're going to have to tear this building, stupid shit like that. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I get that.
I built a
You
$2
get
million house. I built a $2 million house on the lake in St. Clair. It was a gorgeous house. At the end, it was in the FEMA floodplain. So I had to build it in such a certain way that it was outside the FEMA floodplain, which means just higher. That's all it means. It had to be a foot and a half higher. I did everything, I mean, to an extent that if I told you, I'd get mad at telling you what I had to do to get this to do that. And at the end, we just wanted the permission to be out of the FEMA floodplain. Hush. We wanted the permission to be out of the FEMA floodplain. The guy said, I told Brian this. I don't know if I told John this. At the end, I literally called up the FEMA person in charge of that particular, my floor plan. So the house is done. The townships signed off everything. We're all good. Take it out of the FEMA floodplain. It's called a map revision. They said, this drain outside of here, we don't know where it goes to. And and he said something, if this doesn't happen, we'll make it tear it down. Okay. I got Sicilian on him. I go, where in the fuck are you at right now? You're in Virginia, right? You're at this building? Yeah. I'm coming here tomorrow. I'll see you at your fucking office. Have the cops there. Click. And I started to make plans to go to Virginia. I was gonna beat the shit out of this guy.
Hey, you introduced some FOMO.
I was gonna give this guy and I was good, and I could have done time and been okay with it. I would have smiled in the fucking mugshot for this guy saying something so ridiculously stupid. All he had to do, everything was done. All he had to do was just pull it out of the floodplain. And then I started calling up the airlines. I started calling them up. Hey, we're going to do this. I just want to be in fucking Virginia tomorrow. That's all I want. I want to be in Virginia tomorrow. That's all I want. I don't care how much it costs. Shit. I'm going to fucking be in Virginia tomorrow morning. And then I was making plans. And then I get a phone call about 40 minutes later. And it was a girl. Smart call. It was a girl. And the girl says, hey, Leah, we looked at the plans. I go, I'll see you tomorrow. I'm coming to see you. You don't need to. Yeah, we looked at everything. Everything's done correctly. Yeah, we're going to pull it out of the FEMA. We're going to do the map revision for you. And I go, I'm coming to see you anyways. I want to meet Phil. Phil is my guy. I want to meet Phil. And she's like, you don't need to. Don't worry about it. You're all set. And I was, and
that's how you cut through red tape.
And the people were the nicest people on the freaking planet. And they said, the whole reason that whole conversation went, they moved in. They lived in the house. There's no problems. They were paying flood insurance unnecessarily. You don't need to pay flood insurance because you're outside the floodplain now. But it didn't show on the map revision, so the insurance company was making them do it. And I was like, you can't do that. Just fighting for righteousness. I feel like righteous anger. John, you got to try this.
Ooh.
Is this the can of the mushroom thing?
Yes.
Oh my gosh!
This is mushroom wine. It's mushroom wine. It gives you a little bit of a buzz, and it's non-alcoholic.
Okay.
And you feel pretty good.
Chemicals that we don't understand, and he's catching a buzz, and he's looking good with experimental.
We're drinking.
We're drinking,
and it makes you actually feel good. I don't know how to explain it, man. It's the opposite alcohol.
I think it's placebo is what's going on. But
you're thinking placebo. I've had placebo, and that's usually with women.
Hey, John, tell him about the Tuskegee thing, man. He has to know.
Tuskegee Airmen.
So our military traveled across to other lands, and naturally they intermingled with the female population, and unfortunately they developed venereal diseases, and the military decided, okay, if this is going to be part of our military situation, we've got to do further experimentation. So what they did is they thought, let's just pull a branch of the military that we don't regard very highly and purposely vaccinate them with syphilis and see how it affects them. And we're going to watch them. They're not going to know that we infected them, but we're going to watch them. And it was just absolute suffering and miserable effects and things. And what that has done is created so a distrust.
Like, he really could have gone a lot harder with the way.
I could have went a lot harder.
John's a great guy.
But what it did is it's now, if you fast forward to today, it has created a certain amount of disrespect, not disrespect,
animosity,
a lack of respect to the medical community at large from the Black population because they reference back to this. Exactly. Yeah.
They were openly experimenting on certain Americans because they could.
Yeah, that's it.
Because you're supposed to sign away your right. But you can sue the military.
It was a whole ordeal once they figured it out, but it was like the damage had been done. So I was like, what the hell, man?
Yeah, that's disgusting.
I wish they would experiment on us.
Joseph Mengele back in the day. Some of that stuff. Do you guys know about that stuff?
Mm,
No,
Joseph
we're gonna
Mengele
learn
during
something.
World War II?
No,
Oh Lord, look
I
it
don't
up.
think
Not
so.
now, but when you get a chance, that's like the Tuskegee Airmen incident times a billion. He was actually
really.
sewing people together. He was he was doing some really
There's actually a
bizarre
book.
stuff.
Human centipede.
Was this
What's that?
Manchuria? I think it
Human
was.
centipede.
Oh God damn.
Human centipede. Yeah.
Yeah, sewing
That's
people together. What do you mean sewing people? Like two people
Gross.
come together?
yeah, if you look it up, I'm telling you, it's Joseph Mengele. He did experiments on human beings that you would not even believe some of the stuff that
Well, I
he
think
did.
there was a book written actually about I think it was in Manchuria somewhere where they were
Mm,
experimenting on people and it was horrific.
mm,
It's the worst accounts that I could recall ever hearing about, honestly. Like
wow.
putting pregnant women in freezers to see how long it took them to die and
Yeah.
just terrible stuff, dude.
Yeah.
Was that
Yeah. And
the
you don't
Germans
want
when they
any
were?
laws, Brian.
Well, if you don't have if you go over commander's intent and he finds out you're doing this, you know what time it is.
That is
It won't
true.
get
You know what
that
time
far,
it
I
is.
think is what'll happen. Honestly. I don't think it'll
That
get
is
that
true.
far.
Okay, let me ask both of you another question, if you don't mind. What law,
Okay.
if you could take it off the books, would you take off the books? Michael, I think I know your answer, but I'm curious what you guys think. What law right now that you could think of that you would take off the books right now?
What law would I take off the books right now? There's you're asking for the apex of the laws. I mean, I'd have millions of them taken off on.
I know,
So
I know.
In Michigan, if you bring a rat's head to the county clerk, you get 10 cents. That law hasn't been taken off the books yet, right? So that's not it. You can't hunt camels in Arizona because the camel population in Arizona is running
It's out of
fucking
control.
rampant,
It's out of
right?
control.
Oh yeah, oh
It's out
yeah,
of
yeah.
control. But
I'm ready to pick it.
there's a billion laws that are stupid. But what would be the apex law? The law that I would take away? I'd have to think about that for weeks. But if I had 100 laws, I could think of 100 laws. But you know, it has to be an overreaching law, and I can't decide. It's like, which one of your kids you like better? Which one would I want to get rid of? Go to Pithy Jedi. See what he says first.
I don't know, but I think I would lean in the direction of, because I'm sure it's illegal, maybe not removing it entirely, but making provisions for vigilantism.
Oh,
Making provisions for so you're allowing vigilantism.
A bit, a bit.
oh. Oh wow.
I I would
I mean,
take
Batman's a superhero for a reason, guy.
True, true,
I would
true.
take away here's the law I would take away through all the United States. I would take away any law that would impede the Good Samaritan law.
Well, there you go. There you
So
go.
like in I heard in California, someone broke into a house.
It seems like a similar vein. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, vigilante. Well, yeah, because if someone wants to do good, let them. Someone broke into a house. An individual came into the house. Another individual came into the house and stopped this individual and hurt him a lot, and he got in trouble. He got in trouble for saving somebody else. So there's something about that. It's in most states. Now this state, South Carolina, fucking love it, and here's why I love it. I asked the police officer, what's the gun laws here in South Carolina? He goes, don't show me yours and I won't show you mine. And I went, deal.
Huh.
Deal. So I can
You
carry anything.
you can move to Indiana and the response will be, what type of gun do you have? Because here's mine. I want to show you. It's we got both my wife and I have life. Um, there's no expiration to conceal and carry in Indiana. Indiana is, I mean, it's farmers and they
Yeah,
private
yeah.
property signs everywhere. So That's interesting, Mike.
Yeah,
That's
and
interesting.
you know what I've noticed is that I've looked at some stats, and the people that carry the most guns are the safest populations, like
Unarmed.
rape, murder, theft, robbery. The people that carry the most guns, like if you look in, and I hate to say this because it's not fair because there's so many people in like the big cities. You got Chicago, Detroit, New York, LA. They have the strictest gun laws and the most gun deaths. The problem isn't the guns, it's the illegal people that are carrying the guns.
The
And when I
laws.
was in
We're back to
Detroit,
the
I
laws again.
I was well, see now, so
I
guns
was gonna
never
say
killed
this a little
anybody.
bit when he
Guns
brought
never
it up
killed anybody.
earlier.
People have killed people, right? People kill people.
Right,
Just
guns
guns
don't
make it
kill
easier.
people.
Guns don't
Guns
kill.
don't
Well,
kill
they do
people.
kill people. Guns
No,
themselves don't kill
no,
people.
they don't just get up one day and decide to start killing people.
They can't do that. Yeah, you can put a robot behind it, and
Yet.
that's a different ballgame.
Insert human. Yeah. I was
AI
gonna say this
robots
with
and
his laws thing. He said, "Well, if not laws, then what?" And one of my first thoughts was, an armed society is a polite society.
there's this one guy who said the most brilliant thing I've ever seen in my life, and it made perfect sense, but it seems like our laws are distorting our minds to unarm ourselves. Does
Well,
that make sense?
it's the forever encroaching thing. In a lot of these liberal states, I say all the time, they'd want you bleeding out, almost dying before you can defend yourself. When
Yeah,
can you shoot them? Once you're bleeding. Like, that's too much, dude. That's too close, too far. That's not a good idea.
Me and John are both prolific martial artists, and John, I'm going to the U.S. Open in 2 weeks.
Yep.
They got it on the 17th, 18th, and 19th this year. And I'm gonna say this on the podcast. If I win anything, it's because of God, not because of me. I guarantee you that, because the level of competition that's out there is always top notch, and I'm gonna be 60 competing. So if I win anything, it's because of the God. I want to put that out there first.
Well, it's not your
And
hard work over the years. What kind of shit is that?
No. And I'll tell you why. It's because of old age. When I was younger, me and John did really well together. I mean, he was in the heavyweight and I was in the lightweight. We took a lot of trophies home. We took a lot. I think if I'm not mistaken, I want you to understand John Zurisk. John, so you compete in an event, and then you go to the next qualifier, which would be the ISKA. And then you can win the ISKA. And if you win if you win enough each year, if you win enough at the ISKA, there's only 4 or 5 events: creative, elbow, hand, or creative, elbow, hand, and what is the other one, John? Other couple ones.
Well, there's concrete, and then there's wood for power, right? And then there's
3D.
the sidekick. They kind of have 3D, 3-directional, where you go left, right, down, or right, left, down.
Elbow brick, 3-directional, sidekick, cement. The sidekick cement, they're doing wood this year.
They're doing wood. Okay, yeah.
So no more cement. And then you got creative, and then there's 4 or 5. John, if you win 3 out of the 5, or you win 4 out of the 5, you get ultimate breaker, which is the best of the best of the best.
Triple crown.
And there's only one. There's only one of those. So in
sounds like a triple crown kind of thing.
Super crown. John, how many ultimate breakers do you have?
3.
God damn.
And it's
3 ultimate breakers. He is literally the best of the best.
Were they back to back, or were they split up?
I think 2 were back to back and 1 was split up. But I think, to Michael's point, I think we're talking about hard work and youth, and yeah, you do need some higher power going on there too, because it's very difficult, because it's like, there's tournaments that say, I'm a world champion, this is a world event, and everybody's from the same state. That's not a world
100%
event.
true. 100%.
A world event is when you're going against Ireland, South Africa, Cuba, Puerto
World
Rico,
Fair type of thing.
Yeah, Korea. I mean, it's just it brings in an international flavor. So it's so cool to be able to.
So what is the biggest team? We're going to get stuck on this. What is the biggest team? I'll never forget. I forgot what year I was there, but I'm walking down Coronado Springs in going from room to room, and I see the Australian team come up, and they have that green and black, and it's 30, 40, 50 freaking people,
Yeah.
and I'm like, that's just Austria, that's Australia, and that's probably like
Yeah.
2 or 3 schools. I mean,
Yeah.
I think there's like 3,000 competitors from around the
Oh,
world, and I'll never
that's
forget.
crazy.
John was with me most of the time, and we just love helping each other and having fun. I think you were judging the event, and there was a dude sitting next to me, and he stacked up something pretty weird. And I go, hey man, why are you doing it like that? It's just, it's a great stack. I just wonder how you're gonna do it. And he looks at me and goes, "Donde está? Que se le pepe?" I couldn't even wrap my brain around. He wasn't even, looks like a regular dude. And you
Yeah.
think, and
It was,
here's another question for you, John. I've been to multiple events all around the world. Where have you seen the most out of country competitors?
ooh, uh, hmm. Martial arts in general, or are you talking about specific to what we did?
Martial arts, just all of it as a big
Oh, wow.
encompassing.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Well, outside of the United States, um,
And like the most for the U.S. Open, I've seen the most competition from other countries in the world, and in any competition, in anything I've ever seen,
I'd
even
have to
watching.
agree. Yeah, I'd have to agree. Yeah. And what I find interesting is they train the entire year for that one event. So they're bringing in, when these folks come in, it's not,
Specialists.
they
Oh,
are,
dude, snipers,
and they
snipers.
dropped thousands of dollars to travel to the United States to show up on your porch to battle against you, which is
And who knows
insane.
how many thousands they spent in training to get here.
And they
Yes.
have
So
coaches.
yes, you want to hear one that kind of I love telling the story as long as I live. It was we were at the Open, and who's the guy Murphy? What's Murphy's first name?
Clint?
Clint Murphy. Um, he goes, "Hey, somebody needs help here," and it was a purple belt. It was this little guy, and I came up there and I go, "Hey, what's up?" He goes, "He doesn't know what he's doing." I go, "All right, tell me a little bit about yourself." I'm from Africa, and this is what he said. This is opening line. I'm from Africa, and in the conversion rate, it cost me $80,000 to come here because everything's so expensive in America as opposed to where he's in Africa.
Oh.
And he goes, "I'm an elbow brick. I've never done this before. I need some help." And I go, "All right, what's your good arm?" He goes, "My right." And he goes, "I heard it in sparring." Okay, wait a minute. I go, "Help me out here, man. You're gonna go with your bad arm." And he goes, "Yeah." I go, "All right, let's fucking do this. You got to get keyed up, get mad. Pound, come on, 0 to 60, come on, let's go. 0 to 100, let's see on, push, pull, bah, 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 bah. And 5, 10, 15 minutes, I gave him a 20-year education on what to do. He starts practicing, and I go, get mad. And he's like, ah, and he finally did it. Purple belt broke 7 of 9 cinder blocks. For purple belt, that's knockdown, drag out great. And then I'm starting to look at his competition, right? And his arms hurt now. Now both arms hurt. His other one's hurt. Now this one's hurt because he's never done it before. John, when you do it for the first time, it's gonna hurt. And
Oh, yeah.
and then he's got sparring coming up in another room. And I went, dude, I don't know what to tell you, man. I go, it's looking good. And then he goes, I got to go to the other room. And this guy was little. I mean, he was like 5 feet, right? And the trophies at the time were 5 feet tall. And he goes, I gotta go. I go, all right, we'll have if whatever you win, we'll have your sensei, accept it. And then it came to the last dude, and he broke 6 of 7 or something like that. Because if he would have got 7, he would have won. Broke 6 of 7. I looked right at him. I said, your guy won. He's got to go take one of those trophies home. And the guy kind of like just looked wide eyed and stuff. I said, that's gonna be another cost. So it's gonna cost more than $80,000 to come out here. And then when he came back from the sparring, and his coach had the trophy, and he goes, that one's yours. And he just looked at me and looked at it, looked at it and looked at me, and it's like, and it was just a great equalizer of the small guy can win too, coming from another country with
Yeah,
everything
David and
stacked against
Goliath
him,
kind of thing.
almost no education on what to do.
That's
It was
funny.
super cool, crazy.
It's like a David and Goliath kind of story.
It really
Hey, Brian.
was. And the guys he was competing, and he was, he was like $160, and it's only 200 and up and 200 and under, 199 and under. So there's guys, at 160, 170, he's got to compete against 190, 200, 199. So it was pretty impressive.
Brian, what's
I'd love to.
cool? Oh, go ahead, Michael. I'm sorry.
No, it was just it was super cool, and it was super great to see someone do something like that.
The event itself. There's people that went on to become big actors, and what I mean by that
yeah.
is there was one particular martial artist. He actually was in the Twilight series. You familiar with that? With the I'm not as well versed on that whole movie series, but a martial artist that was
Taylor
the
Lautner.
werewolf. Yeah, he actually he went from
of it. Yeah.
he got noticed at that event and ended up being in that movie. Caitlin Deschelle is the stunt woman for Wonder Woman, all the Wonder Woman movies, all the stunts you see. The girl that competes that we were eating breakfast next to.
I think she's announcing now.
Probably.
Caitlin Deschelle, I think, is announcing now.
And then another one, a really really good, solid guy. I even went to one of his tournaments down there in Florida. His name is Jangsing Lee. James Lee is he has starred in different movies. He's been on different shows. There's a show that used to be there was an actor. He was a police officer. His name was Sammo Hung. That's his real name. And same actor fought Bruce Lee in Enter the Dragon at the beginning. He was the guy that he was across that when they had the black gloves on. And do you remember that opening scene of Enter the Dragon? That's Sammo Hung.
That was the first MMA stuff. The gloves were small.
Exactly, because there was
they were fingered. I'd never
correct.
seen before that day.
Nobody
right?
did,
and they
right?
were fingered, and he was armbar, and he was doing some actual. It was legitly the first MMA guy I've ever seen in the 70s, right?
Yeah. The cool thing is even the folks that are sitting in the audience or the judges, they were my childhood heroes, and you're up there. These are guys at the highest absolute level, and you're up there. You're thinking, I'm some country bumpkin coming from Cedar Lake, Indiana, and you're performing in essence in front of your heroes. Uh-oh, there went the mushroom drink.
No, it was coffee. Give me a quick second.
Who would you and this doesn't have to be martial arts related, but who would you get nervous in front of if you had to do something, like if you had to perform or do anything? I mean, do you play music or any of those types of things besides what you normally do? What's that?
I don't know.
Gotcha.
But if you had to do something in front of somebody, who would you be nervous doing it in front?
Jocko?
Living or alive or dead?
Like the standard is high. I know it is. Whatever it is. It was baking fucking
John
cookies.
Holmes,
It better
baby.
be perfect.
I'd hate to perform in front of John Holmes, the hog.
The standard is high.
John, who would you say? I'm
Me?
gonna start with you because I love hearing your who would you be afraid
No,
of?
I did it, man. I did it. Well, okay. So my son, he works for a company that sets up like these big conferences where they have like multiple screens and the lighting and the music and the audio. Like he actually designed a stage where like when the Republican Party, when they had all the candidates, they were showing up. It was actually the NRA in Indianapolis, and they had like Mike Pence and all these different candidates that were up there talking. And here's my son controlling the audio, the lighting, and recording everything. And I asked him that question: were you nervous at all? And it's like you just kind of kick in the work mode, and you have to do it. Like the Doobie Brothers, one time there was a fundraiser down there that he did everything. Like everything was on him to coordinate all that. And it's like you were saying, Michael, I think just being on stage doing that one world record with the 2x4s, I see,
Oh
people
my
like
gosh.
Bill Superfoot Wallace who fought Chuck Norris and all these guys that, like you said, when you're a kid, you're going,
God damn.
holy shit, I'm doing this in front of these guys. These are the guys that inspired me, and now I'm trying to, and make them somehow impressed. So
That's
yeah,
Well,
funny.
you were impressive. You really were impressive. I mean, you still are, but you don't compete anymore. But you were ultra impressive in everything you did.
that was very
You
kind of
you
you to say.
well, so I'm still teaching Josh, and I give people gold and they just go, just knock it out of their freaking hands. Josh is one of my students and he's a third dan at my school and he's competing in the US Open. He's
He's
got
a great guy.
a lot
Yeah,
of
he's a
trophies,
great
a
guy.
lot of belts. He's killing it. He's literally killing it. And his biggest weakness is creative. My biggest weakness also too. I've only done it a couple times. I didn't like it, and I'm not creative. Hey, you got John Zurisk's number. Why don't you give him a call? He's won a couple of these, and he goes, yeah, I'll do it, and he fucking doesn't do it.
Yeah.
And his routine is horrible, and not horrible. I shouldn't say that. His routine isn't as good as it could be. And I said, talk to John. Please talk to John. And he goes, well, I like what I did. I like what I'm doing. I'm like, you're gonna do good. Don't get me wrong, but John is gonna bring it to a different level. And they just don't do it. And like you said, you got to practice months in advance. I mean, he used to set it up a month before. And when you did that world record, that was I think the time we became really good friends because you trusted me, which I wouldn't have trusted me at that time. Did you hear this? Did you hear this story, Brian?
About?
So John's going to do a world record, and it costs tons of money, right? The belt I think was $1,200 to be on stage, do the event.
That's where you got paid.
Order all the material, bring it out there, bring your tools. You brought a trailer. I mean, it's a lot of effort. It's a lot of money. And then I've been a builder for 30 years before I met him. And he goes, I'm going to set this up this way. And I'm just like, you never, ever change anything on anybody's break the day of. Because they've been practicing it for 6 months, 6
That's
to 8
their
months.
mold. Yeah.
Yeah, they've done this. And the way he was setting it up, I go, dude, I'm supposed to shut up. And I don't know what to tell you, but if you just change the orientation of the 2x4, you'll have more stability, better chance of you winning. And he goes, and he sweated it out. And he goes, I go, John, here, and then we put a couple boards down. I said, here, just, this is, you're doing a 2x4 this way. Let's do it this way. We stood on it and he checked it out. And he goes, okay. And he allowed me to help him with it.
There's a leap of faith.
Dude.
Oh,
I wouldn't have done it.
The day
Let me
of,
tell you.
too?
The day of.
It takes a badass right there, John.
I'm
does.
gonna paint a little bit vivid picture. I'll keep it short. This actually started 3 years ago because there's basically the three gentlemen that run this whole big world event, martial arts event. One of them called me up and said, hey, we want you to do a world record. What do you have any ideas? I said, yes, I've been playing with this idea of breaking a 2x4 with a sidekick with my bare foot. And he's like, cool. He says, can it be done within a certain shorter time frame? I said, yeah, 10 seconds, however many boards. How's that sound? Perfect. Do it. So I made the mistake of trusting human beings. The base of it was a heavy landscaping block that was where you could slot a 2x4 in, but you had to have people that would have to brace that and then people to brace the top part of it. Well, when I hit it, they were kind of going with it, bouncing off of it, and it didn't go well. And I got a phone call.
How many did you break? How many did you break before that day?
2 out of 10.
Out of 10?
And it was because of the malfunctions that it was only that. So
yeah,
so
you give any give on a break and it's not going to break. You know that.
It's not. And quite honestly, yeah, it was very disappointing and it was sad because it was just like, oh, I failed myself. I failed, the gentleman, one of the 3 top gentlemen that called me. So he
You're
calls me a
taking the
week
swing
later.
though, man. You're taking the swing.
Yeah.
That's what counts.
Well, he goes,
Yeah, but no, yeah, we get what you're saying. But when you're going to be on ESPN and you're segmenting time at ESPN,
No.
you can't lose. You can't fuck it up.
right.
It's got to be perfect.
In a way,
So
it's not
thank
about
God.
them though.
Well, thank God I got another phone call from somebody unrelated to them, but has been doing it forever and ever, and said, I want you to come down to Florida to Ripley's Believe It or Not. We're going to all try some world records and raise some money for breast cancer research. And I'm like, let's do it. So I took the idea of taking humans out of the factor and building this sort of like mocked up wall. And I did it to where you can hinge it and lay it down and then pop it up and brace it up and all this stuff. And it worked. It worked. I was so proud of myself because I mocked it up at home and then I ended up building it when I was in Florida. And then I was like, okay, this is good. This is good. I get to the
How
big
many did you
event,
do then for the world record for the Guinness
7,
or not Guinness?
7 out of 10 on that one. So then
7 out of 10.
Michael,
So he broke. Now here's let me set this up for you. A
couple
2
more.
by 4 a 2 by 4 braced at 2 feet is almost impossible to break. A 2 by 4 at 10 feet is easier to break. John had him at 6 feet, so it wasn't easy to break in any way, shape, or form. And I was, being a builder, I'm like, hey, try and get the knots in the
These
middle.
are all 2 by 4s you were smacking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was side kicking 2 by 4.
Jesus Christ, dude.
I
Well,
know, right? In
Is it
10
barefoot
seconds.
as well?
The thought was, yeah, barefoot. The thought was, if I was to kick somebody, I would aim for the
I
ribs.
think you guys hate
I-
your body sometimes.
We do. And I was thinking, if you kick somebody hard enough, how hard would you have to kick them to break their ribs? This is kind of a jerky thing to tell you guys, but I was in a
That's
tournament.
good. It's realistic
There-
application kind of thing.
I was
Yeah,
fighting a guy
exactly.
in a
That's what
tournament,
breaking is.
a traditional karate tournament where you can hammer each other pretty hard. And the guy was kind of,
Oh, that's horrible to the other guy. Oh, geez,
yeah,
dude.
pissing me off. So I threw a jab at his face, and as he kind of went up like this, I immediately followed with a kick. I actually broke the guy's ribs, and
Yeah, ribs are easy to break.
I felt bad because, oh my God, I literally felt my foot sink in a little bit into him, and that gave me the idea of the 2x4 break. I was like, you know what? I don't want to hurt anybody.
Yeah,
But
where that
2x4,
comes
I
from is
could give
pretty
a
crazy, huh?
I could give a shit about a 2x4, right? So, but I wanted to get that same feel. And quite honestly, the whole story comes down to this. The night before, like Michael said, I had this engineered, wood frame and all that. And Michael goes,
And he's been using before.
you
That's
could
been
take
working.
that off. You could take that off to get. So he literally made it like it wasn't like 2.0, like, 2x4 frame 2.0. It was like 8.7. Like it took me from like this sort of rickety thing to like,
It took the
holy
engineer
crap.
mind and applied it to your little
Oh,
contraption there.
John's the engineer mind. I'm the practical.
No,
applicator.
he's the man. No. When it was all
I'm the
over,
practical applicator.
He might be the concept guy. You're the nailing it down kind of guy.
I'm
the doer.
and then
And
that
then
gave
when-
me
when
the
he- when he-
confidence.
Well, good, but yeah, but it was you. Still, would you get 9 out of 10?
9 out of 10. That
Yeah,
time.
9 out of
which
10
is
is the
good.
world record that probably won't be broken. So you got to break more than 9 2x4s on side kick, which is basically impossible.
Is this the
So
top of
he's
your
got
foot?
the record
Is that
for a
what's
minute.
doing all this?
Huh?
It's
This is
literally the side, the blade of your foot.
Oh, the bridge on
and
the side there?
So like picture like if you look at your foot, like the pinky toe to the heel, you
Mhm.
basically there it is. Yeah, I'm pointing. But you
Ew.
guys, so yeah, I know. Like we're all ew, right in the middle, right in the middle there. That's your sidekick. That's the
The
blade
of your foot.
That's it.
That's what
That's
you're
it.
We call it
kicking
the
with,
blade.
huh?
Yeah,
That's what you kick
yeah.
with. So it gives you a nice distance. It gives you the so if you miss off target, it's better to hit more on the heel than the toes because the toes have like compression, but still, you can still get some damage out of it.
I'm trying
But
to
John
think of how
probably
you're
clocked him in
swinging your leg in this motion. It almost seems like if that's your right foot, then you're swinging your right foot right to catch that blade of your foot. Because if you swing your foot left, you're going to catch the top of your foot, right?
You're standing sideways and you kind of shuffle into it, bam, and then you shuffle out of it. You kind of zigzag out, in, back, forth, back, forth. Yeah, and the cool thing was, okay, so if I gave you a board to break, Brian, and I said, okay, make a hammer fist. That's a blunt object, bam, you hit it. The idea is that you advance yourself and train yourself enough to where it becomes more narrow of a thing, so that if you were to hit a collarbone or the side of a jaw or whatever, it actually is more devastating, because I actually laid out a baseball bat, a Louisville Slugger,
That's that blade you're talking about.
right?
Of like the
Yeah.
yeah.
So the foot is kind of same thing, right? You don't want to hit too far here. You don't want to hit too far here, kind of the sweet spot, right about there. And the whole idea, again, like you said, we hate our bodies, right? Because,
Dude, I
but
think
We
I'm
love
almost
our
convinced that
bodies. We
anybody that
love our
does
bodies.
this,
That's why we punish it.
I'm
We
almost
punish it to make it
convinced
better.
that I'm almost convinced that anybody that does this is masochistic. So
oh yeah,
You're not far
yeah,
off.
yeah, you're absolutely right. It's
But
masochistic arts,
if you
not
do
martial arts.
something,
it's what a hobby. Destroy your body.
well, we don't. I don't think we
Put it
destroyed
on
our
a
body.
t-shirt. There you go.
I think we tempered our body into a weapon.
Well, it's the Kill Bill thing, the micro fractures. It's the 1-inch punch thing. All the it's the same philosophy, but it's like applied to everything else.
Yeah.
Well, here's my point. I've been doing martial arts for 20 something years straight. Been competitively breaking for 14 years, and I'm going to be still competing at 60 years old. So, am I destroying my body, or am I tempering it to make it better?
I don't know. How much do
That's
you
the
think?
question.
How much do you think this applies in 2025?
For what?
Well, it's obviously good to have these base skills, but we live in a day where everybody's armed.
Yeah.
So,
Well, what do you mean practical application?
like I said, it's good to have these things, but like you gotta assume. Like, I'm in Florida. You just assume everybody's armed.
Brian,
You do, but I wouldn't.
Scenarios
Let's
do
put,
break down to where you may need, but like
okay, you're in
if you're
Florida, right?
leaking because you got stabbed already, I don't know how effective you're gonna be anyway. That kind of thing, you know?
You can be effective for a period of time.
Yeah.
I've seen guys who's called suicide by officer get shot like 3 or 4 times, and they're still coming at you.
Well, they're doing
You got
drugs.
seconds. You got seconds to bleed out. But you're in Florida. Isn't there a term Florida man doing the stupidest stuff at the stupidest time?
That's
Generally,
like hey, watch
there's
this.
alcohol involved. Generally, there's alcohol
That's
involved.
the hey,
right?
watch this.
Generally, there's alcohol involved,
Yeah.
right? So you could be effective for you or somebody else, right? Odds are me and John will probably never get in a fight, because if someone says I'm going to kick your ass, we should back off and say we don't want to fight. We don't want to fight. And then if they typically would, so if someone said I wanted to kick your ass, I'd go okay. They're like, wait a minute, you jumped at that too quick. Do you know what I mean? Like he's too eager for this. That'll make him think. You're gonna say, listen, I really don't want to fight, but if you want to kick my ass, go ahead. I have to pay to get my ass kicked.
So
And they look
Brian,
at you like, what? Huh?
yeah, to Michael's point is, okay, so it's situational, right? It's like,
Correct.
I know CPR. I have a feeling if
Mhm.
somebody's choking or somebody fell, that I've practiced. How often would I necessarily need to use it? I've used it once in my life in a real life situation to resuscitate
You save somebody's life.
somebody,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, I
But
said that.
but that's a one-time thing. But I still practice. I still go through the things. It's kind of like martial arts. It's that I got into a situation where I was at a party, and it was a bachelor
Yeah,
party of
Mike
all
just
things.
casually threw his ISK trophy in the back with that.
Oh, you see that? Yeah. And we were at a bar. A bunch of us were just standing there at a bar, and all of a sudden there was a commotion. These two brothers, the guy that actually the party was for, invited his brother. They actually did not get along, but he did it because
Ugh,
whatever.
that
He's
happens.
getting married. The brother puts a rear naked choke on his brother, literally choking him to the point to where like it's like a wrestling match where the arm
He's
is kind of
going
like
out.
going. Everybody starts screaming and yelling, and my one buddy grabs me and goes, "You got to do something." I ran over there and I literally shoved both of them, like I hit them both hard to the ground. So the guy that was the brother that was choking him had to let go, so he had to break his fall,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then
yeah.
you
Weight
Good
pull him
call.
broke
apart.
everything.
The only reason I could, like, everybody else was like yelling, stop, 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 stop.
Right.
Like it was
They
like
don't have the ability.
they didn't have the ability or the confidence to do something
I think
about it.
the courage to do it. Yeah.
But the
Well,
point
no
is,
ability. So ability. That was the guy big or small? The guy choking him was big or
oh, they were
small?
both big guys. They're as big as me,
Okay, then so you're taking away 80% of the population right there, 90% of the population right there. So you have to be a big guy, number one, right? Or
No.
you have to
right?
be really, really skilled.
No, you
Your
just have
skill
to
level
know
has
what
to be higher if you're going to attack a bigger guy.
you gotta know the weak spots, you know.
And
Well, dude, there's not. So alcohol is a big problem. There's actually a martial arts called Drunken Monkey,
Well,
and
alcohol is a problem.
it's
Alcohol is a
because
problem in the
you can
form of
punch,
strength.
you can give everything you got to a dude in the face that's drunk, and he might not even feel it. And you're like, oh, what do I do now?
Alcohol is a problem as it relates to strength, but
And
technically
there's more
they're
pain.
awful.
More, we can manipulate pain in a way, and manipulate a body in pain that makes you want to give up. But if
That's
they
why I
don't
said
feel the
that's
pain,
why I said weak spots, you know.
yeah, the weak spot. So what happened after that, John?
the
Finish the
other
story. We
guys
got
jumped in, pulled each other off, and then the brother that was getting choked wanted to shoot his brother. And that's when I grabbed him because that's how you address the situation. And I walked him outside and I said, calm down. This is, it happened. I get it. You want to go over there and just absolutely obliterate him. I totally get you. I don't blame you, but we're not going to ruin your party, your
bachelor
day.
party,
This is
right?
about so
In
then
jail today.
the idea is that you've already practiced enough thinking through these bad situations. In other words, practicing martial arts. See, what's kind of cool is like when people
To
think
game
martial
this
arts, they
thing
think
out.
of people just, beating up bags and beating each other up. We used to train where we would literally cover up an eye and try to do self-defense or close an eye or put an arm behind the back. And the reason we would do that is because if you're injured in a fight,
It's realistic.
you still got to go through the motions to get yourself you survive, right? So what's interesting is that martial arts not only teaches you to be a pugilist, punch and kick people, but also to be a little bit smarter when these situations occur, how to avoid
Playing
them, and if
mhm,
you're in it, what to do about it. So
playing chess, not checkers.
Yeah, we did something similar. We put for a black belt test, we would I'm really good with takedowns. I really just enjoy them. It's limitless. And what we do is blindfold the person, and there'd be 6 or 7 people, 6 or 7 black belts around you, and then one of the instructors would point, "You go get him. You go get him," and you couldn't even hear anything. They'd point, and then someone would come and grab you in a certain way. And what I
That's
loved about what
cool. That
John's
sounds
talking
so
about
fun.
it is,
It's
it
the
is,
random
but
chaos of it all. That sounds great.
it's amazing. It's mind blowing. But what we have to do is these are our friends, right? We have to take them down, protect us and them. If we're on the street, we don't have to protect them. You know, I can do an armbar throw and get their feet over my head.
You
And when
can
they
put
hit the
your
ground, I could have them hit on their head. I could have them hit on their back. I could have them hit on their side. But when we're doing this blindfolded, and I could feel an arm here and an arm here, I gotta know which way they're coming from, know which hand's touching me at what point, one on the neck or
well to
one
know
around the
which way
neck,
you can twist, which way you can do whatever.
and then I have to react and then make sure what I think is true. Does that make sense? Like if someone's got me like this, or someone's got me like this, like this. So how are their hands oriented? Because it's a different technique to take them down. And so as soon as they grab you, you gotta feel where they're at, and then kind of catch where they're at, and then with blindfolded, take them down. Make sure they don't arm bar or something like that. Very, very controlled, so nobody gets hurt. Because here, I got a question for you. And what is the worst mistake you've made physically? Ooh,
having kids.
both of
No,
you guys.
wait a minute.
I'll
Wrong
tell you mine at
subject.
the end.
It's too
Wrong
open.
subject.
Too open. You gotta specify a little more.
No, like physically, you've done something wrong, hurt somebody, punched somebody. What's the worst physical thing you've done? Johnny can be martial arts.
Well, that story about breaking that guy's ribs with a sidekick, I do
That's what I was gonna say,
genuinely
man.
feel
Yeah,
bad about
that
that.
makes
I mean,
sense.
there's other incidences, there's things that happen, like in judo, like Michael was talking about with throws. Even though it's a mat that they hit, you want them to land a certain way so they have the ability to diffuse the energy. And sometimes if you're in the moment of competition, like
Yeah.
it's easy to get injured. Uh, so that's my answer. What about you, Brian? I'm curious.
Oh, I don't know. Oh no, I keep thinking about the way I got injured. Honestly, fucking 20 years ago. Just
What happened?
wrestling stuff. Fucking
Oh yeah.
dude picked me up over his fucking head, man, and then
Oh,
I just landed straight on my back,
oh God.
Oh,
and
Yeah.
I haven't been the same human since.
Uh-huh.
I've had a
that's
pinched nerve in my back ever since that I've been trying to work around. But damn, dude, it's
That
just
hurts.
because it wasn't a diffused energy situation. It was like a constant. Even though they're mats, it was like a concentrated in one spot. It just the spine
Golly.
was bunched up in a way where fuck.
That's harsh. That's harsh. That is harsh.
yeah.
But this is
Those
why you
are
know who you're training with, and we were just dumb kids in high school. So it's like, yeah,
I get it. Can I mention
pick your
something real
training
quickly?
partners well, guys.
Yeah. Well, to the point about training, real quick, and this is relevant, and this is a good question for both of you also. So I used to train students. What I learned actually from some of my teachers that were in the military taught me some aspects of knife defense and gun defense. And
Yeah, that's a
and I
good
would
one.
always preface by saying, even though I'm going to show you these techniques, they may or may not work. And I'm telling
Mhm.
you that because if anybody ever tells you this will work 100% is lying to you. Because if you have somebody
Yes.
that stabs like this and you're able to grab their arm and do this, that, and the other, the reality of it is it's going to be a much more dynamic situation. In fact, my very first black belt test, my teacher took lipstick on a plastic knife and he lipsticked the outside of the edge. And he
You
attacked
probably you
me.
probably look like a yeah. You probably look like a candy.
Well, we like a peppermint stick, those like at
Yeah.
Christmas. That's what I look
Exactly.
at. I had my white uniform, my karate uniform on, and he went nuts with it. I mean, I couldn't grab him, I couldn't do
Right.
anything. As
I
soon
know.
as I grab him, he's stabbing me under the ribs, and I backed up. Now this was at my test. This is us practicing prior, but then at my test, he did the same exact thing. And the lessons you learn is you've got to be committed and do it, and you're going to get cut. That's what I learned from it.
We gotta be
And real quickly, I
decisive.
just want to push it back on you guys for a second. Is even though I taught those students those techniques, I still preface the fact that you may get hurt. And one of them, of course, raises her hand and goes, "Well, then why are you teaching us if we're going to get hurt?" And I said, "You got to have something in your head that you can react
We missed
to,
the whole boat.
or you're screwed." Right? Yeah.
It's right. You gotta have worst case scenario. You gotta have the
And a
last ditch
plan,
effort, right?
a plan, right?
Right.
Something. Because
Well, that's
Brian,
what I
What
say
you
about
gonna do?
learning all this stuff, right? It's
well,
like it's obviously it's useful because there's many scenarios where things would get broken down into nothing, and then, but
right.
at the same time, I would say most conflicts today probably start armed.
Yeah.
Nah, I
Yeah.
don't.
No, you're right
I'd
about
like
that.
to look at that.
I think people are paranoid, man. People are paranoid. People are packing. People carrying blades. People carrying mace.
does that
People
does that
carrying.
reduce the conflict rate? Thinking everybody's packed.
I don't think everybody
Does that
thinks like
reduce the
that.
conflict rate? Yes, it does. It does
I
reduce the
think I don't think
conflict rate.
everybody thinks like that though. I think that
Well,
maybe
when
they
you're
think they
drinking, you
are,
don't.
but they don't assume that everybody else is.
I'd like to see the stats are going down on assaults. They are
You're
going down.
right on
I
the
noticed
armed
that.
thing. Armed society is a polite society, right?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think we're in a good spot, but I just don't want to get hypersensitive. Like John did. He wasn't afraid to step in to save somebody, and that happens a lot now too,
Well,
right?
suing. We're a very litigious society. More of this shit, right? This forever clamping thing.
No, you're right. Yeah, agreed. 100% what both of you said.
I
Guy
always.
goes
And
guy goes to jail for trying to help somebody. That's
Well,
ridiculous.
look at the Daniel Penny situation. Remember that?
No.
You know about that one, John?
The name sounds familiar. What was the scenario?
So he was a guy, New York situation. He's an ex-Marine. It was like a little bit past COVID, whatever it was, but there was an incident in the subway in which something was happening, and he subdued a guy and ended up fucking killing him. He choked him
Oh
out,
yeah, yeah,
and they wanted to put his ass on a cross for it.
yeah.
He
From New
eventually,
York? In New
yeah,
York?
yeah,
I
yeah,
wouldn't
yeah.
help anybody in New York. I wouldn't help
Well,
nobody in New York. Sorry, New York. My New
Do you
York
do you know
fans,
what?
I'm sorry. I would never help you out.
Do you know how New York CPR is done? You step
With a
on their
gun?
chest and you go, "Get up before you die." That's how you do CPR. Sorry, I had to throw that in.
that's
That was a
I
good
funny.
one. I
had to
like
throw
that.
that in.
I was
Um,
harking back to a story from forever ago for this litigious shit, right?
Go ahead. Yeah.
There was a like Le Mans or something like that overseas, and I think it was like the 40s, 50s, if I was guessing. They were doing Ferraris and Fords, we're all out there and everything, right? And
Uh-huh.
they said there was an event where one of the car's hood came off and it decapitated a whole row of people.
Oh Jesus.
If I was guessing, I'd guess like 30, 40 people.
Oh my
But you
God.
know what didn't happen that day? Not one person got sued.
Wow.
Yeah, look at that face you're making. That's exactly my point here. Is because it is not that long ago, but it's such a world apart from the one we live in. And because it was the old thing of you slipped outside the courthouse. You're not going to sue the fucking courthouse. It was your fault. You should have watched where the fuck you were going. Like everybody at that race volunteered to be there. They chose to be there. They kind of accepted the risk to be there. You can't fucking just sue people because the McDonald's coffee was hot when you knew it was
Oh,
going to be hot.
you took my story, Brian. My wife and
You
I
took
were in
my story.
Florida. No, my wife and I were in Florida, and she's my witness.
Mm,
And I told her like a week before was that lawsuit for the with
mm.
the hot coffee. I purposely, because we were like 5 minutes away from that very McDonald's, we went there. I'm not kidding you. The windows had little signs that said coffee may be hot, coffee may be hot, coffee may be hot, hot coffee, hot coffee, hot coffee. There were signs every square inch of that freaking restaurant had the coffee may be hot. I'm not even making up. My wife's my witness. I purposely went there to go see this place just because we were right there. It was like a weird thing.
Scene of the crime.
Hmm. Hmm.
It
Crazy.
is, yeah. That's the litigious part. That I'm not a fan of. And
Like
you
you could,
talk,
he's right though. You could put
but
warnings right in people's faces, and they can still sue you over it. It's fucking crazy.
well, but when is it justified? So I asked you guys physically,
Well,
what's the worst thing you?
this
Well,
McDonald's story seems to have some meat to it. Actually, I looked into it before. Like the coffee that or whatever was like ridiculously hotter than it was supposed to be.
Mhm.
So there is
that's a
some things
possibility.
to
But
it.
do you think it was $40 million or whatever, $4 million?
I don't know. I don't know.
You know, and
But it
now we got to
sets a
talk
bad
about.
precedent. I know that.
Right. And then I heard it went to retrial or went to litigate, higher court. And
Mm-hmm.
then it went from 4 million to 400,000 or whatever, but they did settle, and it was less than it was originally they were. But we're talking about when, the laws and when to do what. That's really the key. Like here's, the one thing that I did physically, my worst thing I've ever done in martial arts was my third dan testing. And it's like I said, blindfolded this. Someone's going to come at you with a gun. Someone's going to come at you with a knife. Someone's going to come at you with a bat. Someone's going to come at you like this. And it's just multiple scenarios of people coming at you in different directions. And there was one time I turned around and there's a 12-year-old kid. He was a black belt. And he just comes at me with a knife like this. And I dodged out of the way just like I was supposed to. And I twisted his arm and I saw his hand open up. So when you can't have an open hand like this, right? You can't hold anything. I happened to have one at the right spot. The knife came out and I went like this, and I just cut his neck. And then I looked over the black belt board, and I just looked at him, knowing I fucked up. And then I dropped the knife and then I put him down, and then the test went on. And then they were just waiting, man. They were like the wolves waiting, and they just sat there. And at the end, they do a verbiage, like, hey, how do you think you did, and this and that. And one of my teachers goes, "What's the worst thing you did today?" And I said, I killed a 12-year-old unarmed kid. He goes, "Yeah," but it happened like that. So,
Well, in your defense, he was armed until you
no,
took
he
it.
wasn't.
You said he came at you with a knife.
Right. But here's the eighth of a second that I took the knife, and then I had the weapon, and then I killed an unarmed kid.
You made him unarmed. He was not unarmed.
Right. What I'm supposed to do is take the weapon and throw it away. Out of his reach,
What
away
you're
from me.
supposed to do is make sure that you go home to your kids.
I would have probably, if that happened, I probably would have went to jail. Now, I legitimately killed an unarmed kid.
You made him unarmed. He did not start unarmed.
Right. But that's what I'm trying to illustrate. When it comes to the laws, an eighth of a second, and that's what we train for mentally, is to do the right thing all the time. Yes. And I was told my whole career, whenever it's a gun, you throw it away. If it was a gun, I'd pull the gun away, kick the guy, and then just unload the gun in the ground or in the air. Now he can have the gun back, and he's still not going to do well.
That doesn't seem like justice.
Well, that's my point. It's called due force. The police have to abide by this. I told you about this. It's due force. If a drunk 150-pound guy comes up to me, can I kill him?
But the police are also paid by the taxpayer. You aren't.
Well, they have to be held to a higher. You want the police to be held by a
higher standard, right?
The highest my point.
The higher than the public, so you would have been fine.
Highest, because they carry weapons.
Right, but that's not you as a guy walking down the street about to get stabbed by a 12-year-old. That's not your situation.
But legally, I killed an unarmed boy.
No, factually you did. Legally, they can say whatever they want, but
legally, I had the weapon. I did. It wasn't my weapon. Don't get me wrong. And then,
dude, you're inviting that trouble. I mean, you can't be that surprised if something happens.
What I'm trying to say is we train ourselves to understand what to do and what not to do. Now, here's the difference.
You don't know entirely. This kind of bugs me when a lot of people say this. Oh, I would never do that, or that wouldn't be me, or all this other shit that people say about. They just hypothesize about who they would be in some stressful situation that they've never been in their life. Know. So stupid.
And to John's point, like with a knife, it's chaotic. And here's two more points. If we're going to talk about the law and having the right amount of laws, right? The right amount of laws, not too much, not too little. The two things that I can say on top of this, especially when it comes to knife. I remember one time with a knife, one of my students comes up to me, and like, John, you'll like this one. Recently, there's a guy that's coming out, and he's going to all these martial arts schools, and he's like, "All right, you got a good gun and knife?" He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "I'm going to attack you now. You ready?" And he just goes, it's called a blitzkrieg attack, right? And just like John said, you look like a candy cane. So my student came up to me and said, like almost verbatim with the guy, "There's always something you can do." And he goes, "Well, I'm gonna go take knife, and I'm gonna try this on you." He goes, "You ready?" And it's almost like the guy said it. And I go, "Yeah, I'm ready. There's always something you can do." He goes, "Yeah, just watch." And he starts to come at me, and I offensively kicked him to the ground. I did a push kick upwards. So if you kick somebody this way, they can go back. But if you kick them up, they're gonna lose their legs. See what I'm saying? If I kick upwards, that happens. But if you hit someone like this, they can go. So I kind of kicked him up a little bit, and then he kind of fell on the ground. He knew how to fall. I go, "Do you see that there's always a way?" He goes, "Yes." So there's always a way. Let's put it that way. But when is the time? When is the law going to be, I took the knife and cut the kid's neck? When is that? When is the right thing to do?
The right thing to do is go home to your kids. If somebody brings that kind of trouble to you, I'm not
Now
feeling
you're on
bad
the Good
for him.
Samaritan law. You can't get
I'm
you
not
can't
feeling
get
bad for
sued
what
for trying to
happens
help
to that
somebody
kind of
else.
person. I'm not feeling bad for that kind of person.
Yeah.
See, this
I
kind of
mean,
placating to the evil in the world is probably how good people get harmed a lot too.
well, I think it's good people. For all evil needs to do to fester, is good men to do nothing.
Yeah, like not stab him because he tried to stab you.
You got a point. You got a point. You got
It's
a
a
point. I
FAFO
can't
moment. Fuck
argue
around
that.
and find out if you want to, man.
I think legally and
And then
in my
if you were to complicate this even further, look at the guys who go overseas and have to fight wars against 12-year-olds with AKs. So you can't say that age is a thing here, because sometimes, and me
no.
and my friend have concluded that the most dangerous person with a weapon is a teenager. Like a 13-year-old person is the most dangerous person with a weapon. They have no real conception of like life and all this other shit, right? They're not quantifying those things. They're just impulsive and being, yeah.
I don't think they've
Right.
thought about taking life.
Well, let
Yeah.
me to kind of anchor a thought onto Brian, what Brian just said. I used to work at Heinz VA Hospital. It was a Veterans Administrative Hospital not too far from Chicago. It was like it's part of Chicago, but it was sort of its own little isolated area. And it was they had Al's roast beef across the street. So if you want good lunch, you go across the street and eat at Al's roast beef. Me and my two of my coworkers were eating lunch. These two kids come in with toy guns, but we didn't know they were toy guns, and they were pointing them at tables and going pow, 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 pow. And then the owner came around and started yelling at them. They took off running, and they were, like you said, Brian, younger kids. And my thought was, okay, what would have happened if they would have shot all of us right then and there? And they're clowning around. I get it, but I mean,
That could be a
what
real
would have stopped
scenario
them?
easily.
Could have been a real scenario. And like to Michael's point, what if I grabbed one of those kids and broke his neck or something like that? Would I be justified if they
It
had
seems
real
John,
guns?
justified in that
a,
situation.
a forward pseudo by John could take off a head. It could snap the
I,
neck to the point where it's not recoverable.
I mean, there are things you can do, right? But that's the same point, like you were saying, like to what degree, how does it, like, you know,
That's a balancing act.
That's what we
And you
train
got to
for.
think about like scenarios where kids do this without that orange tip on. Some kids die.
exactly.
Is that justifiable,
Absolutely.
John?
Without question. A
So
kid is doing a bang bang thing with a gun that you don't know is
Florida
fake.
people. Now let's
I'm
use
Well,
gonna,
I'm just not even.
Judge
Hey,
Brady
I'm a
or
transplant, but
Sheriff Brady.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad I didn't react. You know what I mean? I'm glad I
Right.
didn't because I was
Well,
kind of
hindsight's
assessing the
always
situation.
2020.
Right? But those could have been, now that I think about it, those could have been real guns. Just they didn't bother to shoot, but they just wanted to prove a point. What do you do?
Mm.
And here's what there's a lady
Moral
she
conundrums.
well she's on this news channel that we have that I watch all the time, and everybody always asks her questions like that, and her favorite answer is I just don't go outside. I don't go in
Stay away
public.
from people. Jesus Christ.
Well,
That's somewhat of the answer, though, honestly, because the
no,
more you
it's
get
not.
involved with people,
No, it's
man.
not. It's not.
I mean, tell that to
Not.
everybody who's isolating in this world. It's harping and creating a lot more
Is that a good
division.
thing
I'll
or
tell you
bad
that.
thing? Humans are connectively based. We have to connect. Majority of them. There's always a minority of everything I say.
Well,
I always
yeah.
say at least 65 and up, but this is a 90-95%. Humans are made for connection. They're
Yes.
made for
We're
connection.
tribal
right?
animals, man.
We're tribal
animals.
animals, exactly. So
Tribal
the
robot
big thing I
animals.
want people.
Now we're getting warmer. Tribal.
He's right though. I'm not disagreeing with.
Tribal
So,
robotic meat suits.
Yes. So
Yes.
what do you think? What do you think these bodies are? Now you threw me off base. Now I wanted to go on something else. You said they're meat suits. What do you think this body is?
Well, there's a reason they call us a being.
Hmm.
I
He'll
think we
come back.
lost John there.
That's fine. We'll come back. It's not humans doing, it's humans being.
I think we lost John there, guy.
He'll come back on. So what do you think these bodies are?
Well, we are a being. We are a being.
We are a
That's
being.
separate. That's separate from everything else you'll hear labeled on this planet.
Okay. Agreed.
It's our conscious carcass. I don't know what to tell you.
Well, you had it a couple weeks ago. These are biological robots.
Yeah, I'm telling
And
you.
our consciousness, they still can't understand. They still can't quantify.
Who can't understand it?
Scientists today. And that's
Because
why I need
science
John.
is,
That's why I need John.
science is always catching up to what's been already known forever, right?
That's a weirdly
It is
interesting
not.
concept.
It is not. Because you think of like all of the tech in the world and all of the stuff in the world. It just these people. I thought about this a while back. People figured out people a long time ago.
You wrote about it in the
Because if you
Bible.
think about it, if you strip away all of our tech and all of our this and all of our that, the
Mhm.
only real problem that people have had since the beginning of time is people.
Mhm.
So that was the main thing for them to figure out. Kind of like
Mhm.
how we look back at the forefathers and be like, how did they know all this stuff was going to be? How did they know how to assimilate this in such a perfect fashion? It's because they understood people and they
Mhm.
understood how to deal with people and they understood what people were. So to your point about the subconscious and stuff, look to people like the yogis. Look to people like the Tibetan monks. Look to people that have been following things that have been known about people for ever.
Yeah, John's a super special dude.
Yeah, him breaking down the binary and the computing of the dude. I was like, okay. The bit
Well, you
basically, right?
understood it. I was looking at glazed over, like, what the hell is he talking about?
Well, I don't understand it, but I can kind of figure out what's going on there.
I like when he said, I kind of thought of something. He said the ones and zeros, and
It's the
it's all
binary
binary
code.
code. Yeah.
That's the
And
whole
what is the
Matrix thing, Remember the
representative?
Matrix movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, they highlight that really well in there.
Yeah, they did a great job with that movie. Ones and zeros. What could the ones and zeros represent? Truth or lies?
I think it's more of a less. You want it to be truth so bad.
I do.
I think it's more of a up regulating or a down regulating.
For
It's
what though?
I can only
Upregulating,
in my
downregulation, what?
head this.
Okay, up and down rate. I get what you're trying to say. Oh,
Oh,
it just
he
had
he
a
got cut out.
outage.
Okay, well he has a link. He can pop back in if we're still cooking, so it's whatever.
Come back in when you can.
Yep, that's it.
Um,
But so I always see this as a gene expression thing. Because chemical signals of ones and zeros basically make up your DNA in a way, and chemically we get triggered to what happens and doesn't happen in our bodies, and the up regulation or the down regulation of a gene expression. You could do this with hormones, right?
you know how
Hormones.
you make a hormone?
Ooh,
Don't
hormones
pay
are one
her.
of the fundamental blocks of humans, apparently.
Yeah, you know how you make a hormone? Don't pay her.
Yeah, well, I don't know about moan, but should do a lot of whining.
There you go.
But yeah, I can only see this really in gene expression in my head. Because do you know what epigenetics is? Oh, I wish John was here for
The
this
study
one.
of what?
So epigenetics is basically the study of how your environment impacts the effects of your body internally.
Ooh,
So
look
it's
at.
essentially to say this gene expression. Stuff to say, simply put, like if you're in a happy environment in your life, your body will respond in one way. And if you're in a sad environment in your life, your body will respond in another way.
Yeah, that's facts.
right? But it's epigenetics because it's not. Okay, here's one. They've taken studies where, God damn, where's John? I'm getting on the medical stuff. Wish John was in here. But they've taken
Do
scenarios where
you wanna pause till tomorrow or next time? I
we'll
love
run
this.
it
I
just
love
because
this stuff.
I'm talking about it now, so we'll run on it. But
Yeah,
it's
we don't know what we're talking about.
but they've taken twins, identical twins at birth. Right. What you got?
No.
You good?
As soon as I'm done, my
But
wife
they've
wants me.
taken certain sets of twins at birth and they've been adopted to different families. And then some of these twins or one of these twins in that new family has adopted maybe a sickness that is not with their original family tree, but it is of their new family. And they've adopted this trait of somehow, some way, even though it's not of their DNA and it's not of their natural composition. They've inherited something that family does carry. So it's like there's these weird things that go on that we really
So
don't.
could that be not psychosomatic? Because psychosomatic means, if I'm not mistaken, psychosomatic means not real. But could you think a disease into existence?
Placebo is real.
Well, placebo is real. Yes. Yeah, so the opposite of placebo, there's another term for it. There's another term for the opposite of placebo. You're right. And
And
that is true.
nocebo.
Nocebo. That's it. Nocebo.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So the nocebo. You can talk yourself into a disease. And if did the
This is
kid
the
know
power of
for a period?
thoughts. This gets back to the power of your thoughts.
Okay, here's a question for you. God, I wish John was here.
I know we're getting into this medical world now. He would be so fitting right
This
here.
is metaphysics, though.
Well,
This is
it
metaphysics.
ties into it, and he's got a bridge of a brain for it all. So
He does. He does. He's brilliant. He's actually going for his doctorate, believe it or not. I don't know how he got a doctorate to talk to us. But
a long time.
yeah, there you go. Here's a question for you. Our minds and the abilities of what it can do. What's more powerful than the human mind?
Well, I kind of go back to what I've said to you before. I think that the power of belief might be the human's ultimate superpower.
I'm not saying the humans. I'm talking the universes.
I'm
What's
telling you, I
more?
think the power of belief is greater than the mind. Well, it's brain in this sense. I don't know where you're, because you say mind and you mean subconscious, right?
Well, the metaphysical part of the metaphysical part of what I'm talking about is your brain's an energy generator
Negative.
working in the energy field. But our brain, so the
Negative.
energy field, I'm not going to get into because I don't know, and I
Okay.
couldn't even debate either way.
Can I pause
Well,
you for 1 second?
let me finish this thought. So
Okay.
the energy field that we're in the universe, I'm not going to say it's intelligent or all that kind of stuff. I don't know. But if our energy generator can create and change the universe we're in, what would be more powerful than that?
Well, I have to break this down because I don't believe our brain is a energy creator.
It's not an energy generator?
No,
You don't think it is?
No, I don't. I
Okay.
think the heart is.
Ooh, that hurt. So
Because I don't know how true these guys are, but they say that your heart creates a magnetic force field around you. Like your bubble, that's a real thing. There is an
Aura, they call
energy
it.
field to you, and it's generated from your heart. That's why when you do the participations that I do and you get into this love sector, right? Your amplification of this thing is fucking blowing up, right?
So that's a very interesting concept that John should.
Because I was going to break that down because he said the mind is changing the thing, but it's not even the mind that's changing the thing. It's more of the will of the mind because I keep saying mind. I should start using brain because you say mind typically and you mean conscious, and that's a little bit different than brain.
Mind, yeah, the brain, here's my definition, and I think it's true. The brain is the physical part of your body that controls your body, electrical impulses. The mind is what controls the brain. The mind and soul
How can
control these.
how can the brain control anything then if the mind controls the brain?
So the interconnectivity of the two, I can't
I could give you
separate.
my breakdown, but I'm curious on yours.
So the interconnectivity of it, it'd be like your mind is the program that tells the computer what to do.
SOPs.
The program is the unseen,
Your SOPs.
Yeah. Well, not the standard operating procedures. So perfect example. Good. So you got an SOP, standard operating procedure of a computer, right? Now you put in a program.
So the mind in your world is the prompt.
There you go. Nice. Good definition. Thank you. It's the
Yeah.
prompt.
So the
Yes.
prompt for the machine. So I kind of break this down similar, but a little bit different.
Your
So
mind
the
is the
heart
prompt.
is your energy field creator. It's your energy because every time it pulses, it boom, it's creating energy.
Oof.
And the mind is your computer.
Okay.
The mind is your filing cabinet. Your mind is program, startup, Windows. That's all. Well, I say mind, I mean brain.
Right.
And then your mind, as you say, your conscious is what controls the computer.
Right.
And which is where your free will comes from. And then you decide what the computer does, unless you are an undisciplined person, and then your brain just controls the whole show because it's living in fear or whatever the thing is, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's my distinction.
It's I think it's two ways to describe the same thing. But you said your heart,
It's similar.
like Jesus said, I didn't come for he did said something to the effect that I came for the hearts of men. I came for the hearts of men. And when he said that, I gotta read it.
That's what it tells me. It's an energy thing.
Right. And he said, and when he left, he told his disciples, he goes, love one another. That's how everybody will know your mind.
Well, they say that love is the highest vibration that your body can physically handle.
I heard that there's one higher one.
Enlightenment?
Authenticity. I think it's frequency versus vibration. So I might be, I think we might be confusing
I don't
the two.
know. Remember the vibe chart? Remember? It's just a vibe chart. At the top, I'm pretty sure that love is like when you are embodying love.
I'm on frequency then. So you're on. Your vibe is on.
I don't know the difference, honestly.
Waves and frequency. So the waves go up and down.
Frequency is just the frequency of the wave.
Mm-hmm. So I don't know which. I think we're talking
frequency
about
would be like a number of the wave.
Correct.
So the wave is everything, and the frequency is how much of it.
Mm-hmm.
So the wave.
But the combination of two can really do amazing things.
Well, it's the same way that you control your thoughts. You can control your body. You control your breathing. You can control your body. Different breathing exercises can calm you down. When people are stressed, they don't realize it, but they're breathing differently. They're hesitant. They're pausing in their breaths. They're doing things. They're not feeding the oxygen in certain ways, and it's not, relaxing. That's why they say do breathing exercises to kind of woo-saw yourself and cool yourself down, because it really is real. You can control your physiology with your breathing.
I was explaining Mukyang, which is meditation, to my friends yesterday. We were on the boat, and one of them struggles with anxiety, and I said the best way I found to anxiety is a bitch. It's a bitch. Fear and anxiety is a bitch. If you have any tool that works, use it. And I showed her a tool is meditation. And I explained the situation where I was in, and my phobia and how it helped me. And I just showed them to relax. Just take a deep breath. Let it out through your mouth.
Breathing is the fastest way to access it.
And it is, and it's yes, 100%. And what it does is it calms your heart rate, it calms your mind, it makes you smarter, better, faster, and
Well,
more reactive.
when you're emotional, your IQ actually drops. Did you know that?
Yeah. So yes, I teach it and I install it too.
Yeah,
The
I wanted to dig on you with this. We haven't talked about this a bunch, but I've literally probably thought about talking to you about fear for the past 3 weeks, and we just haven't.
fear is huge.
Well,
I do
if
some
you want
public
to talk
speaking
about
on
how
fear.
huge it is, right? I've said this to you
It
before,
is
and I think it's kind of
huge.
true that they say that people do things for one of two reasons: out of love or out of fear. So
Hmm.
everything you do could be 50% fear, and that is
Hmm.
huge.
It is. So what will fear? So this next podcast is going to be on fear, and I'll show you my speech that I do for fear, and we've
I
touched
got
on
some
it before,
clips.
but
I got
let's
some clips I actually pulled today for fear because I didn't know if maybe we get there, but yeah,
let's do it next week.
yeah, that's fine.
Let's cash in an hour, 2.5 hours in, and
Yeah,
John's not here. But let's plan for Wednesday and see if John can make it, and then we'll talk about fear. I'd like to see John and your opinions of fear because fear is a thief.
what do you say?
Fear
If
is
you
a
let it,
thief.
that's what you say, right?
If you
If you
let it,
let it.
it is the greatest thief in the world. The only thing is you have
They
to
say
let
the
it.
person that tells himself he can and the person that tells himself he can't are both correct.
100%, 100%, 100%, 100%,
Yeah, it's crazy.
100%.
That's one of
It
those
is.
things also about your thoughts controlling your physiology. It's one of those things also.
So what is the most important, back to what is the most powerful element in the world? It could be our intent, could be our
What kind
perception.
of ties into what I said before? I think that the
As I'm agreeing with you,
power of belief, I think
I'm agreeing with you 1,000%.
yeah,
I'm trying now back to, are we biological robots? Yeah, I can't conclude anything other than that. So now
because it's
we're gonna
like
have to
if
crack that one open.
somebody's convinced they're gonna get sick, well, guess what? They're probably gonna get sick.
I've seen it. I've seen it.
You know what did this for me? I can vividly remember this when I was 12 years old. I had learned that placebo was real, and it broke
How
my
did you learn
fucking
that?
brain. Huh?
How did you learn that?
Just like seeing these studies and stuff, right? Like they'll run double blinds and stuff, and people that got the fucking medicine got better, but people that also got the sugar pill thought they were getting the medicine got better. And it's stuff like this, and it's like, what the fuck?
I think there's a stat to it. I think 30% of healing is your belief.
This goes back to your Jesus thing that I've chewed on for a while. You told me that Jesus said he never healed anybody. He just allowed
No,
them
I
to heal
didn't. No,
themselves
he
or
didn't say
something.
that. He did, but he did. Well, let's
I
no
don't
heal.
know. You know
So
the
let me,
world better than
yeah, the
I
good
do.
book
So
better. So what he said to them when anybody said, "Could you heal me? Could you
because he
fix
did
this or
this
could you
with
take care of me?"
walking, the people that couldn't walk, people that couldn't
Yes,
see, right? It
yes.
was weird,
He
weird
goes,
stuff.
he goes, "Do you have the faith
Belief.
that I can do it?" And they said, "Yes." Now he can work with them. But when he went back to his hometown of Galilee, he couldn't do great miracles because they
Because he
didn't have the
didn't
faith.
have the
He
power
was
of
the
belief.
they didn't have the power of belief. So is the belief in them? But then once in a while, he taught his disciples to cast out demons, and it's faith. The faith in getting rid of the demons, right? And
Isn't this
then
all belief, dude? This is so crazy.
okay, but his is a little bit different. I mean, being the son of man and all that, and we could be all sons and daughters. I say we are all sons and daughters of the Most High. But one time, there's the disciples came to him with, we couldn't get rid of this one. We can't get rid of this one. He goes, without you, you didn't do anything wrong. Without prayer and supplication, you cannot get rid of this one. This one is the higher demon, right? And so he had to, I know, right?
No,
So
no, I
he
got
had to
a
get them out.
perfect go ahead.
So he had to get that one out. They brought the demon to him to get rid of. He had to get that one out. So the disciples could only get a certain level of demon out. That was very interesting to me. What I'm going to do with that information is beyond my comprehension.
This Oh my God, this is so perfect how this ties in. So, I've mentioned him before, I think, on here, the Dog Whisperer, Caesar Milan and stuff.
Oh, I love that guy.
He's fucking amazing. I mean, there's a lot of like Hollywood to it, I guess, now, but whatever. He's really good at what he does. But what is like one of the most consistent problems that he runs into? You have any idea?
Owners. It's always the
Exactly.
owners.
Exactly. And this is the same thing with this power of belief thing. It's I can fix the dog. The dog isn't the problem. I can't fix you.
Right.
And until you do, I can't do the thing. I can fix this. I can fix this. I can fix everything, but I can't fix you.
Fix you. Right.
And this is your belief system that it
But
ties to.
here's the kicker.
And like, oh, I'm always nervous when we go past this area with the dog, and now the dog's freaking and da 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 da.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, watch me with the dog. Oh, the dog doesn't do that now. Oh, I wonder why.
It's you. What's the common denominator?
Uh-huh.
When you're around the dog, it always does this.
Yeah.
When you're not around the dog doesn't do this. What's the common denominator in this problem?
I can fix the dog. I can't fix you.
Right. But here's a question. Here's the one that's going to hurt the most.
And this is what you tie back to Jesus with him helping people. He's like, you're just in your own way, basically, and you don't know it.
Well, it's so you're in your own way. Let's if we're gonna back out to the macro, is there demons? You got to ask yourself, is there demons? Do you believe there's demons out there? I've seen demons. I've seen people that normally are okay and just turn into rage. I feel that the demons are possessing them or manifesting.
I think demons might be more external, but yeah.
Okay. So if there's demons and there's angels, if there's good and bad, who are you? It's your decision who you're going to align yourself with, who you're going to agree with.
All right.
You're going to agree with the demons or you're going to agree with the angels. The angels say you're made of light and you have a command of the universe by your voice.
I know I'm made of light.
Demons say you're a weak worm of the dust and there is no God. You have nothing. You are going to die alone.
See, these are just two belief systems all over again.
But who do you align with is really the question. Just like you said this poetically. The person that says they can and the person that says they can't are both right.
Yeah.
Right. And who are you aligning? You're going to align with positive. You're going to align with negative. I mean, this is so basically simple.
I've heard it before you've said it, but since you've been driving it home, since we've been talking, I turned it into. I was like, all right, I'm gonna nail this motherfucker down, and that's kind of what it is. The person who tells himself he can, and the person who tells himself he can't, they're both correct.
You will change your life
the best way to verb that.
If you'll change your life significantly, if you do that, you'll change your life
The
significantly.
beliefs are everything. That's kind of my dissent. I told a friend of mine before. I was like, you know the difference between a homeless person and a millionaire?
Their beliefs.
The 6 inches between their ears. That's it, dude. They put on their pants the same way. They have the same ego, basically. They have the same emotion crap, you know. It's just what they decide to do with it.
It's who they focus on.
And this goes back to the point more of we're creatures of meaning.
But we create the meaning. You're right. But we create the meaning.
Yeah.
Eliminate all humans from the earth. What's the meaning?
To who?
There you go. They're gone. They're gone. Right?
To who? To who? Meaning to who at that point?
I took this great course. It's called.
But don't we? But inherently, by being human, have a purpose, have a meaning?
Not really. We got to make it.
You don't think that by being human, we just have an obligation to our species?
Meaning, not obligation.
Obligation, meaning, same thing, but yeah, like an owed debt. Like you were put here because somebody else did the thing. Why? Who are you to not pay that forward?
It's an obligation. We're back to obligation.
That's what I'm saying, though. Yeah, you were put here because of somebody else's decisions. Is the reason that you're here.
Right.
Who are you to not pay that forward to the next generation? The gift you were given of life And you'd think that, well, not you, but like some people think that they should not do that gift for someone else. And it's
That's
like,
I believe that's the enemy talking to him. Because
yeah,
you
I
know the
don't
one
know,
thing that
man.
here
I
you
think
can occur to this, you can agree with this probably wholeheartedly. All right, so what they're thinking, the enemy's telling them that the kids are a burden, and what we know is the kids are a gift. But you can't tell anybody the joy of having a kid that doesn't have kids. Can you verbalize the joy of? Can you adequately verbalize the joy of having kids? I can't.
I tell most people that I think if you don't have kids, you're missing out on about 50% of life.
Cool, but is that an adequate description of the joy of having kids?
Oh, the joy?
And I know you're going through a lot right now because you got you got 3 of them at that age. But when they get older, it is true. You know, it's a joy.
No, it's a joy now. It's just I enjoy the chaos. That's fine with
Yeah,
me.
yeah. You do.
I
You
do.
do.
When they're running around with their fucking hair on fire and it's like that's it. That's what I'm talking about. I mean, what do
Yeah,
you
that's the
want? You want
joy
a
of life.
boring ride on this rock? That's not what you
No.
want. You want some action, baby. Let's go.
Well, listen, my friend, we're gonna have
That's a
to
good
end
place
this.
to stop, I guess.
Yeah, that was a great ending.
I
Let's
know I
head it
wish
up.
John
Let's
May
try.
was here for it, but you
I
know.
know, right? Well, we'll catch him. We'll hopefully catch him on Wednesday.
Yeah.
We'll let you guys go. This is El Menino and
All right. Jedi out.
and Jedi out. You guys have a great night and keep following us on social media. Thanks.
Yes, sir.